Void. Void.
Welcome to Dynaground! Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming a dinosaur can be seen. Experience dinosaur taming and riding the all-new version of PUBG Mobile Dynaground. Explore Dino Settlement and Wild Reserve and embark on a prehistoric adventure in the Battle Royale game. Come and play now.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we welcome you back to Ruthless Europe Invitational. Well, this is phase number 1, but today it is going to be the judgment day. I mean, this is day number 3. We would love to see how the performance goes on. 10 matches have been passed, and eventually the last 5 matches are about to come in. Well, the casters for the day is Raider and Upcon. My name is Raider. Along with me, it's my amazing co-caster Upcon. And Upcon, how are you? What are you expecting from the day?
I'm expecting some, like I'll say, something which we would not really see in paper. I'm expecting something to go really crazy. Like, after the matches which we got to see in South Asia just few hours back, I mean, I'm really expecting the same when it comes to Europe Invitationals. There are 3 teams which we definitely be watching out for. None other than our very own team REGNUM, CARYA, team ARR, and team SVGs. Alongside these teams, there are many teams have just came into the top 5 position if you talk about MADBULLS. So taking a look after all the teams, today is going to be one final day for them to put some, additional points and make sure that by the end of today, they manage to come up on top of the leaderboard. There is a massive prize pool on the line, which we usually do talk about, but this is just for the phase 1. And after 2 days of action, one thing which we have learned is that maintaining that number 1's position isn't a cup of tea for any team yet. SBG was on the top, now they are all the way in the top of the 2nd page, which means they are the 9th position. So you can expect any team from the bottom side coming on top any which match. So I'm really excited to see how today is going to pan out. But what are your thoughts on today? Because this is the day where teams have to get those final points added in their points table, and by the end of the day, there is going to be one team who will be winning it all.
See, the thing is, there is no qualifiers, nothing like that at this point. Eventually, just the top 3 positions where the prize pool chunk is going to go. And after all of that, I believe there is $100 reward for the MVP as well. So it seems like that every other team is going to perform like at their peak and eventually go ahead and just conquer that particular feat of being in top 3. But let's talk about the point distribution system so that we can have an idea that what kind of chase every single team has to go through. The only position where a double-digit pointer is going to come in terms of the placement point, is going to be the first position. That means every single team has to secure a chicken dinner if they want to actually go with 10 points in their backpack in the individual matchups. Now, the second position is going to get them 6 points. Third position will get them 5. Fourth position will get them 4 points each. Fifth position 3 points. Sixth position 2 points. The 2 positions like 7th and 8th positions are going to get them 1 points each. But if they are actually getting eliminated before that, like from 9 to 20th placement points, there is nothing for them except every single kill is going to get them one particular finish as well. And there we go, the calendar is here, and you can clearly see that we started from the June 1st to be precise, and now we are at June 3rd, which is the final day for the phase number 1, which has the prize pool of $1,000. And the phase 2 is going to start after a break of 1 day, and that is going to start from 5th June to 6th June, which is again going to have the prize pool of $1,000. Let's talk about the breakdown as well. Like the first placement is actually going to get $500, and second place is going to get $250, third place $150, and eventually MVP, as I said, is also going to get $100. Same goes for phase 2 as well. Nothing is going to change in that particular scenario for the prize pools. But yeah, the competition is looking surreal. The way REGNUM, CARYA, and some other teams are performing is absolutely amazing. But let's talk about the squad rosters as well. FUT Esports has got players like Kairos, Savior as well in the scene. If we talk about OZAROX, I believe Swain and Storm has impressed us a lot. From next to RUYA, we have seen Wolf, Yakta, and Freak performing exceptionally well. Well, if we talk about FLUX Esports, the whole roster is looking kind of good. but obviously their performance is not that consistent, and that is the only reason why this team is getting, I guess, delayed or maybe getting denied with the #1 position. On the hindsight, MELISE Esports is again one of those teams which is contending for the first position. BESIKTAS Esports, REGNUM CARYA. Well, REGNUM CARYA is the only team I believe which is actually on top, and which has the 100 plus point. I believe 104 is the score where they are. And BESIKTAS Esports on the hindsight, despite of being the big name at this point, they are struggling a lot.
Oh, I mean, exactly. But Team RUYA Sports yesterday, no matter what the numbers advantage looked like for them, this is that one team which really struggles to come up on top. And surely and steadily, I'm expecting some changes when it comes from their side. At the same time, Team MELISE Esports, they have been really, really amazing us. Talking about GAIMIN Gladiators, they have been the one who had a good comeback yesterday, but it wasn't them who had the comeback day. It was also the side of Team Major Pride who showed a phenomenal gameplay. SBG, not the brightest day for them. This France team need to make sure that by the end of today, they at least get those winner chicken dinners. This is the first team who got the winner chicken dinner when the entire Ruthless Europe Invitational started, and now is when we have only one, team who was on the top and now is nowhere to be seen in the top 8 position. Excuse me, on the other hand, has also been looking really well. So let's see how the entire day is eventually going to pan out.
I mean, yeah, we do have 5 more action-packed matches coming in as we were talking about initially in the caster deck. And yeah, I would love to see how the performance goes on. And another contender for the top positions is ARR Esports, as we can clearly see that Pubg is there, Becca and NEXUS are also trying to perform. NEXUS Gaming, and along with that, like MADBULLS and Slide Europe, these 3 teams are trying their level best to establish the dominance, but still they are having their own struggle. I would love to see how far they're going to go. But yes, remember guys, these are the few amazing teams which are taking part in this competition. Or should I say at this point, they're trying to dominate in this competition known as Ruthless Open Invitational. Let's talk about the overall MVP. That is from MADBULLS' Frozen 444. Despite of being the overall MVP, I don't think so that MADBULLS is actually at a very comfortable spot in the overall ranking, because that really matters. But yeah, overall MVP's reward, as I said, $100 can be credited in the favor of Frozen or other players if they are actually going to be consistent today as well. 17 eliminations, damages of 4,000, pretty close to 4,000 pointer, and eventually if I talk about dribbles being used, that's 50, and 9 assists was also there from the perspective of Matt Frozen, which is interesting. Now moving forward, let's talk about more details. We have got MVP rankings. From the first position, we had Frozen. On the second position, we have some other players like that are also coming from, I guess, MADBULLS, that is Zarish, and on the high side we have REGNUM CARYA's Wild 77k, and Luxy is also there on the 4th position. The high side, when we talk about Telika, is that particular player is also surviving. It's kind of good to see that MVP in the MVP rankings, like in top 6, every single player of MADBULLS is pretty much concluded. On the hindsight, for RUYA Sports, we have to watch out for the 9th position and some other positions as well in the later stages. But overall fraggers, in that particular perspective as well, it is MADBULLS' Telika, which has got 23 finishes and 3390 is the right amount of damage that he was able to dish out.
Well, exactly, but now taking a look after the side of overall fraggers, after those yesterday's matchups, we do have Kulka, who was really tremendous, while at the same time has been one of the players who have been dealing a lot of damage. As you can see, 3,934 damage, 22 finishes for him. Team REGNUM CARYA, they have 2 players, one is going to be Tron and another going on for the side of Wild. But taking a look after the overall ranking, the only team to reach the triple digits, it's going to be none other than REGNUM CARYA. 104 points for them, and this is a lead which they have of only 7 points. How sustainable could they really keep these 7 points is going to be a big question though. Just following them, it's going to be Team MADBULLS, FLUX Esports with 84, Team ARR with 82, then we have MELISE Esports with 62, so that's like a long buffer if you want to make it all the way up towards the top 1 position. But at the same time, RUYA Sports just beneath them of 2 points at 59, and Major Pride with 56.
Yeah, the point is looking good. I mean, the overall standing, if I talk about that, there is a lot of contestment going on for, let's say, the positioning coming from 2nd to 5th. So there can be some changes in that particular criteria as well. But let's talk about SBG. As you said, they were the table toppers in the initial day, and eventually after the second day passed around, SVG is now the table topper of the second page, which is not at all good. 55 points, BESIKTAS with 53, next we have with 47, with 39, OZAROX Esports 37 points, NEXUS Gaming 34, FUT Esports 22, and Sly Europe, after a lot of efforts yesterday, from 8 points to 24. That means they had a jump of just double points. I guess that's interesting. Moving forward, I would love to see a lot of shows coming in from this particular team as well. If there is going to be a chicken dinner, I would be more than happy because yes, the challenge will be absolutely amazing. But look at FUT Esports, the only team to secure chicken dinner in the first day, I believe, which is still lurking in the second pages. Look at them, 16th position. They are about to receive 16 positions if they are not going to perform today as well. But let's talk about the schedule for the day. We are going to start off with the map of Erangel and then eventually switch to Miramar, then again Erangel, then again Miramar. And in order to sum up the whole event, or should I say phase 1 of this particular Ruthless Europe Invitational, we are going to move on to Erangel. So that means as a whole, we had 9 Erangels in the whole 15 matches out of the 15 matches and eventually 6 Miramars as well. So I guess those teams which are quite comfortable like FLUX Esports, which have the greatest opportunity in the map of Miramar, will not get that many chances. But then again, whenever they are getting chances, they are doing the job, they're getting the points in their favor. I believe the only match where FLUX Esports went out way too early was the match number 7. That was the third map of Miramar as per the schedule. And eventually the first, second, and also the fourth map of Miramar was pretty much in the favor of FLUX Esports, which is again a very good thing to be precise. And it's good to have an team like that where you know that in the map of Miramar you are going to have a complete control. But that doesn't mean that Erangel is going to be out of your hands because as we can see, Erangel is actually way more probable to actually come in because 9 matches of Erangel are going to come in. So eventually 1 or 2 seconds chicken dinners. If it is there in the map of Erangel, that would be absolutely beneficial for FLUX Esports if they want to actually go ahead and beat REGNUM CARYA at this point. Well, it's not easy, but then again, that's all about the competition. You have to go ahead and secure the $500 if you are going to become the champion. Along with that, if you are also seeking the MVP reward, go for it as well. Second position, $250, I believe, and third position is also pretty much same, close to it, I believe, maybe 150 or $100. You have to look into that particular perspective. And if you are missing anything, you can go ahead and follow us on Instagram handle, that is esports.ruthless. But let's go on to the predictions. 10 matches have been passed. Still, the scores are looking 0-0, I believe. So yeah, for me, the prediction for the day is going to be REGNUM CARYA.
Oh, well, you choose as the top one. I think I'd go with the side of none other than Team MADBULLS. MADBULLS is going to be my pick. Chat, what's going to be your pick? Do let us know in the chat section. Eventually, there is one point, not between us, but between chat, that they predicted FLUX in the map of Miramar. But nonetheless, I think FLUX, it's interesting to mention about them that how this day could be a comeback day for FLUX. I think by the end of the day, if I was to be asked that which team could be winning it all in the number 1 position, I think it could be a comeback which could be shown from the side of Team FLUX. Not just that their Miramar has been something quite consistent. They have a 75% winner chicken dinner win ratio, which is very rare. But when it comes to Erangel, that's where they haven't yet got the, like brightest of the stars. But they did manage to, bring some numbers. Yesterday also, as we saw, Team ARRs was being one of the team Major Pride came up on top. But what do you think? If there's any team you expect today to win it all by the end of the day in the #1 position, which team do you think will be the table toppers?
I guess REGNUM could be the name. Yeah, I'm actually watching for REGNUM CARYA at this point. There is another contender that I would love to see like performing exceptionally well. That is going to be RR Esports. But seems like that a consistent approach coming in from REGNUM CARYA is actually quite impressive because they have, if I'm not wrong, not yet secured even a single chicken dinner. But still, they are sitting on top with 104 points. That is again another record in itself, which is quite good. But yeah, the match is going to get started pretty soon, and we are going to witness the first flight path, which will be the map of Erangel, if I'm not wrong, which is the match number 11 of phase number 1. Oh yeah, let's go for it. Let's go for it. Phase 1, day number 3, match number 11. In just 20 seconds or so, we are going to witness a flight path. Again, I would love to see a diagonal flight path and eventually a play zone coming in military base. I guess 2 days have been passed, 10 matches have been passed. Still have not seen that particular southern zone coming into the play, both in the map of Miramar and also in the Erangel as well. Yeah, there we go. I guess all the hopes will be replenished in this particular matchup because the flight path is going to come in pretty soon. Whenever the flight path comes in, we will get an idea how the performance can actually be derailed. But your casters for the day once again is Raider and Upcon. Moving forward to forward with the flight path, I guess it is starting close to 70 and shooting range and going towards the areas of Milta Power. And yeah, that's exactly what is happening. And if the flight path is like that, if the circle is going to be an extreme southern eastern circle, that would be absolutely amazing as well. But yeah, southern western circle is also what I'm actually waiting for.
Oh, next RUYA is going on for Zodki. This is a very rare case. Often we do see team next RUYA towards the side of Ferry pair. Frozen got the very first 1 versus 4 clutch there. Meantime, we have this team called Excuse Me versus FLUX whenever it comes down to those 6 houses fight between the I think George Pool City. So let's see if that's a similar case. I do see team Excuse Me going in near to the position. Meanwhile, team GAIMIN Gladiators going in towards the northern cities. SBGs versus the side of team MELISE Esports is also going to go on towards the side of Yasiana. And one more, I think, most probably the clash which does happen is between the side of Team MS. So let's see if those fights do happen to be something to see or no, but I can surely see FLUX and Excuse Me already being there. And as we were talking about the zone closes it towards a similar. It starts all the way from the side of Ruins to Lipovka, from Stalbel to Milta. So that's going to be pretty much of a Eastern centric zone. No, like I'll say a military base island, but I think one team which did used to always swarm up towards military base was none other than Team OZAROX Esports. So OZAROX Esports, where are they going to be heading over now is a big question. They are still, somewhere down the line gliding towards the side of Lower Epnoya. For Esports, meantime, takes the entire prison, mansion and shelter control, but just right next to them, it's going to be another team who will be just giving them a company, which is going to be Team MELISE, as they are down in a 2-1-1 split. The first point of contact does comes in from the side of Team Excuse Me, as they manage to get the first knock. Let's see how the fight goes, promising for them, because if I'm not wrong, it has to be none other than FLUX who falls the victim to it. There's another knockout, and back-to-back knocks coming inside the favor of Team Excuse Me after the trade comes through towards the side of Georgepol City, but it's going to be FLUX who one more time be at a very tough spot. Let's see if there could be some retaliation coming back against them.
I mean, it's not that easy to come up with a retaliation when you are left with just a single player in the lobby. I mean, that at that point, survival is going to be the main game. That is going to be the A game that players will actually go with. And Excuse Me, on the hindsight, is actually going to lose one player, and that is Hubli if I'm not wrong. And with that loss considered, FLUX is actually going to go ahead and push forward. Boots has been taken down. With that, I guess the first team that has been eliminated out of the lobby is going to FLUX Esports. See, the thing is, no doubt FLUX is actually quite consistent when it comes to the Miramar pick. But what is happening to them in the map of Erangel? If they are going to lose like that, obviously they have to compensate with the map of Miramar. They have to bag out all the maps of Miramar that are left. I mean, 2 matches to be precise, but that won't be easy, to be honest. SBC on the other corner also pops out a lot. Yas Napoleon is also going to get flooded with the finishes pretty soon. And remember, guys, this is just the match number 11, so 4 more matches are left for FLUX Esports also to come back. BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner also gives the harshest comeback at this point. If there is one more finish for BESIKTAS Esports, the 2 players that are out to get KO'd are absolutely amazing. But finally, SBG gets taken down. It was a 1v3 stand coming in from BESIKTAS, this particular guy, which is again a very impressive feat to achieve. SBG already stuck at 9th position, are actually going to get thrown a lot in the lobby. I would love to see how far they're going to get pushed. The thing is, BESIKTAS, the team which was suffering with a lot of drop flashes from that particular team known as SBG, is already leading the charts. They have got the 8th position, and the way they are performing, the way they are getting the picks in this particular matchup, if they are able to secure a chicken dinner or even be consistent, I guess they can easily reach out to the 5th position, because there is not a lot of buffer between BESIKTAS and MELISE. So that can actually be quite impressive. But moving forward, there is another fight. And this is REGNUM CARYA. They are trying to push forward. They have Major Sprite in front of them. I would love to see how far that competition is going to go. But the thing is, Major Sprite is actually trying to encircle them and make an envelope in which they can easily tag around the players. The stamps are going to come in. The confrontation is going to be there for sure. But no teams wants to actually overextend when they have opponents like REGNUM CARYA in the scene. I mean, there is a reason why this team is on top. They are quite aggressive, but then again, the calculations are also quite pinpoint. They do not over-aggress, and that's exactly what we have seen in the previous 10 matches. But whenever the situation demands, they are able to get the points.
Oh, yes, surely. But now let's take a look after how Team Major Pride is going to sum up the scenario for Team REGNUM CARYA. This is such a tough spot. I think they only have a loot of 2 houses, 1 warehouse. And I mean, that's it. What would they be working with? They don't even have a vehicle to fall back. Lucky them that at least the zone is going to be favoring them for a few more minutes. But if they move out, Perfect is at the very, perfect position in the back lines. Then you have yet another player just towards another side. So I think they are just being cornered from each and every direction at this point. So even if Team Major Pride, if they want to rush in, they don't need to. They just have to wait for the start of REGNUM CARYA. One thing which is a big disadvantage for Team Major Pride is that even if one player gets knocked off, there's a really tough spot for any player to come in and get the revival. So I think this is indeed going to be one of those tough scenarios to come up with. But let's see how it eventually pans out. Slowly, steadily, the shots have been fired up. There is going to be a rotation being called off at the same time. But oh, luckily, Regnum CARYA do manage to get a vehicle, which is an RCA inside the warehouse. I don't know how they did this, but somewhere down the line, they just totally got trapped from the side of Major Pride from all four directions. And now, I don't think they have any way an exit route. Maybe a smoke could block off the entrance of warehouse and they could go all the way towards Pushinki. That's still not an easy task because if the spray comes down, Dacia managed to get only 68 bullets onto it and then it's going to be bursted out. So this is really not looking good for Regnum CARYA.
Yeah, I mean, they are pretty much cornered, but the thing is, zone is still favoring them, so they don't have to move that much. I mean, they can easily rotate in the later stages. They have to be a little bit more cautious because coming up with a hasty decision can also backfire a lot. So I would love to see how far that anticipation is going to go. And there is some other team also lurking in the Rozhok region. I believe I saw a beautiful pixel coming in the later stages. But Regnum CARYA, look at that. One good player is sitting on the Dacia, sitting on the Mirado, I believe, and he will be able to take one or two players down pretty soon whenever the opportunity is there. And on the other side, like while 77k is still waiting. If we talk about Rude, his HP is also getting diminished. I mean, he is left with just 60% of his HPs. I don't know what is happening. I believe some throwables and some nades connection is what we are actually trying to talk about. Tron and Zelicon are there in the double story compounds, and in the barn house we do have 77k and Luxy. Tron is already way too lit on its HP, so definitely if Tron gets taken down, there is not going to be an easy revival situation coming in, and that's the only thing I believe I am worried about for Regnum, because if a knockout comes in, then that revival is going to be impossible, and eventually that knockout will actually just completely, let's say, invite the other team, Major Sprite, to just completely push onto them. And Major Sprite, they're not that far away. They are at say 9 positions to be precise. And from that particular location to the 5th position, there is not a lot of gap. As we can see, there is just a buffer of 6 rounds and 6 points to be precise, which can easily be compensated. But due to these smokes, definitely the area of contact is actually going to get, I guess, bit more visible for the players of Major Sprite, and Rude is actually going to be there. Some more DB shots. He's trying to, should I say, push the buttons of the other or the other team. It will be not easy. Sly Europe on the other corner. That was Shipa, which was able to take one player down from MELISE Esports. That is going to be Poser. I am surprised to see like Poser losing this way. But yeah, Tron also gets taken down. As I said, Revival is not going to be that comfortable. He's for sure going to get finished off. And if that happens, obviously the opening that I guess Major Pride wanted to have is already going to get credited. Let's see how they're going to have the advantage of the rooftop and how they're going to fight back with it. Nobody is willing to actually go ahead and get the revival done, because obviously Regnum CARYA knows. And at this point, it's way more important to just survive as a whole team rather than just coming up with the revival for Tron, because if they go ahead and get the Tron's revival, then obviously they're going to get connected. But Tool also gets connected. Effect on the other corner is also trying to survive and get some good blows. I would love to see how far that competition goes on. Zelicon is coming up with the spray. Oh, that was amazing. That was an amazing 1v2 coming to the play. Yes, you were able to take down one player, but in retaliation, Zelicon and his teammates are finding two good players out of the equation. I would love to see how far that revival situation goes on, but Regnum CARYA, they are also suffering. Another 1v1. Yes, the damage has been done. With that, the last man standing from Age of Sprite is also trying to push forward. He's actually down to the broken wall. He's going to come up with a revival. Same goes for the other guys from, I guess, Regnum CARYA. They also have to come up with a revival. But seems like that nobody is actually going to push forward, because he knows there is not a lot of buffer left. He has to push forward. He has to go ahead and come up with a 1v1. And that's it. Major Sprite has been taken down. Regnum CARYA without a major loss, to be honest. Yes, they had a loss of one good player, and eventually I would love to add on that without a major loss, their team is already reaching out to 108 points, and they are the setting markers. They are the setting, I guess, a beautiful path for every other team like ARR Esports. In order for them to reach out to Regnum CARYA, they have to secure somewhere around 24-26 points, to be honest. So that's a huge round buffer. They have to secure a chicken dinner, and on the high side, Regnum CARYA has to go out with 0 points. Then only that kind of situation can be compensated, or maybe getting close. But yeah, at the same time, if we talk about Bright Esports, they're also trying to rotate. Gaming Gladiators are getting connected by FUT Esports. Multiple teams are in the chaotic scenario, and I would have to see how far the situation goes on, because Gaming Gladiators, they are stuck at 6th position. They are fighting with the team which is stuck at 15th position, and they are getting the results because the last man standing from FUT is just left right now. Other than that, every single guy is pretty much either on the knees or already out in the lobby.
And I think with that, that seems to be pretty done and dusted for the Sara team. Major Sprite, that was a really unfortunate situation for them. Now Team FUT Esports as well. Like, it's just been 7 minutes inside the game and we have lost almost 5 teams. We almost have the top 10 teams already, so this gives a lot of room for the side of teams to go inside the end circles, find some ideal, backlines for them, and get enough cover with the back of the loot which they already have. But somewhere down the line, I think the fight between REGNUM, CARYA, and Major Pride, it did came a lot into the miscoms, where there was a forceful decision for the last player to just go in for winning that 1v1 duel, which wasn't just, quite ideal scenario. Plus, on top of that, you did not need it to get that aggressive, and you know that all the four players are just stacked up there from REGNUM CARYA. But somewhere down the line, a lot of mistakes, and that was totally been taken care of from the side of REGNUM CARYA. Now, talking about Team MELISE Esports, I think MELISE Esports are down to only 3 players. One of their players just got slammed away with a vehicle. See if that's the case or not. Team Gaming Gladiators just near side towards the shelter warehouse position. And if you talk about the side of Team OZAROX Esports, they are also as close as the compound. So I think slowly, steadily, the teams are moving in and they want to get the center shelter position. But getting the center, I think, shelter isn't going to be that easy. OZAROX Esports goes towards the dip. This is not going to be one of those promising dip unless you have a good vehicle cover. But let's see how Team OZAROX Esports is going to play around this entire map field. Team, coming in from the top lines. Team next, RUYA on the top of shelter caves, and the big warehouse is going to be taken care of from the side of Team MELISE.
I mean, yeah, we do have multiple angles from which the confrontation can actually arise, and as we can see, the shelter compounds, the shelters is pretty much covered up by next to ya. And on the high side, gaming gladiators have got the center PY in this particular fight. They can easily have a lot of tussle, and at the same time, they are actually going to get concentrated from multiple corners. We can clearly see shots are coming in on Miku as well. That shot was coming from some other team, and eventually next to ya is tracking about some tagging around with some other players. That would be BESIKTAS, if I'm not wrong, which was able to tag out the players coming in from gaming gladiators. So on the hindsight, ARR is still surviving with a full manpower, which is again a very glorious team. And they have over 82 points in order to breach or to REGNUM CARYA. As I said, they have to go ahead and gather more than 25 points. So I guess it is going to be a very demanding fight for ARR. And let's see how far those demands are going to get fulfilled, because pretty soon the circle is going to get smaller and it is going to shrink rapidly. We do have 10 teams that is surviving, but things are changing rapidly. Oh, there was an arm with the guy. But still, the space coming in from OZAROX Esports was actually going to outpoint. That kind of damage is actually going to be quite mesmerizing. But let's see how far they can go with the damage.
I think Sefer is now going to go on, take some lead. The shots onto the start of Nexus were looking promising, but Octavian MVP gets taken down to Storm. Now, this is the start with the needed team. Nexus, I don't think there's any chance that they could get the revival onto the start of Octavian, and what a spray with an M16. It's just one tapping it, making it look like a spray, and that is really some tremendous damage he has already done. The backup does arrive, but that's not going to be enough. As Sefer gets one, looking to take down another player as well, and I think Nexus, come on, is going to be on a very tough spot, and yes, the knock comes through. It's going to be OZAROX who gets the second defeat as well at the same time, and Team OZAROX, they are just looking so powerful in this position, but not for too long, as from the backline comes the spray of Team next RUYA, and now it's going to be next RUYA who wants to get some chunk of those kill feeds in their name as well, as Team OZAROX did a lot of chaos towards Team Nexus, forcing them to fall back now. Now Team Nexus only have one solo surviving player, which is going to be Doran, who falls back. Meanwhile, there comes another knockout. This time it's going to be next RUYA. Let's see where the next zone goes up. It goes all the way towards the bottom shelter position. You have the Scott House, you have the mountains where Team ARR is holding, but majorly what you do have in the zone are the caves and these under positions.
I mean, yeah, the bunkers are looking good for quite a few teams, but I would love to see how these teams are going to rotate when the zone shift comes in, because yes, there might be a hard shift coming in the later stages, but for now, I believe the team known as XUI is pretty much comfortable. OZAROX Esports on the other corner is also trying to be a bit more consistent. Oh, those sharp shots can be very hefty. BESIKTAS Esports' Zessi is going to pick them apart, although next RUYA was trying to appoint some good shots over them, but eventually BESIKTAS had the upper hand in that particular fight as well. There are going to be quite a few teams which are trying their level best to be aggressive. As we can see, Bryce Esports is trying to come up with a fight. Peace finds another one from OZAROX Esports, and there is a domination coming in from BESIKTAS Esports, and the way they are fighting is absolutely mesmerizing, because they don't have even a single loss. Zelicon on the other corner has been taken down. That means REGNUM CARYA is once again getting confronted by some other team. I would love to see how REGNUM CARYA is going to answer back with that particular fight. Obviously, the knockout is there, but eventually the revival could be coming in. Oh, Kenzie finds one. That was interesting. A DPS pick coming in, but he finds another one. That means at this point, the retaliation that is coming in from the other team is absolutely impressive. I would love to see how far BESIKTAS Esports is going to establish the dominance. Oh, the Baker is getting pushed. Oh, That's interesting. But still, the revival will be there. Kenzie is going to be back in the game. Kitsune on the other corner, that the buggy that he is actually going to rotate with is obviously going to maybe give him a lot of cover areas. But still, another knockout comes in. Dixie has been taken down by Frozen. That was a really good DV shot coming in to the perspective. But pretty soon things will change because in the southern territory of this particular bunker, we have a fight between Gaming Gladiators and also the team known as not RUYA. And on the other corner, we do have a fight between OZAROX Esports and BESIKTAS. So this is a very good scenario coming in. Every single team is trying to fire back. There was one more player who has been really shut down. Let's talk about the third player. He's completely trying to actually go on the back ends, and Dixie, the way he has been knocked out, he's going to get the revival pretty soon because there is a backup from the back ends. And at the same time, if I talk about Open Machine, he's obviously going to get revived. Sorry, get healed up, to be honest, because he was quite late when it comes to the damage coming in. On the hindsight, it was BESIKTAS Esports, which is also, should I say, resetting their fight. They have got some decent points in their favor, to be precise. 5 amazing finishes in this particular matchup, and they are obviously going to move forward whenever the zone demands. But till then, OZAROX Esports is actually having the central control of this particular bunker. BESIKTAS Esports was there, but now Excuse Me is going to be the team which is trying to take up a fight, and MELISE Esports is receiving a lot of damage onto them. Same can't be said for MELISE Esports. Let's see how far the establishment is going to go. Bra Elvis also finds one on ARR Esports. So yes, multiple big names are getting flashed now.
Okay. Oh, excuse me. Meantime, still surviving with all 3 players. They won the fight against the side of, I believe, Team FLUX. But now the fight still goes on. 3 players from the side of MELISE. ARR looks to close things out towards RUYA Esports. Let's see if Finish could really bring it up. He has a Bison, which is such an undoable situation for him. Both the SMGs, but it's going to be UMP 45, which comes up on top. Allen gets taken down to Elvish's nade. And okay, RUYA Esports, he's really trying to spot things down. But I hope he doesn't end things for himself. Took with an amazing... I think he did only had a damage, but somewhere down the line, Elvish gets knocked off. He's just trying to fall back, and that's where the spray dust comes in. The retaliation is there, but the knock hasn't still yet been found. I think Pubg really needs to fall back at this moment, because if he stays here for too long, there's yet another team just very next to them, which is going to be Team NEXUS, which would really want to come inside the fight. Pubg want to close things out and want to give revival to each and every one of his teammates. He is going for the nades, he is going on for the smokes, but with 3 players asking for revival, it's important, but he gets one. I think Team RUYA Esports are down to only 1 single player. Becca might get eliminated in the meantime, so that's an unfortunate scenario. And what an unfortunate scenario for the side of Team ARR, as they lose out that one important player which was indeed much needed. 2 defeats, still Kaiser yet to be found. He's just hiding in the backlines of the stone. 10 teams and 26 players in the end circle. Let's see which team is going to be the one who comes up on top of the team. With the leaderboard lead in this match, it's going to be none other than GAIMIN Gladiators with 6 total kills. Just right next to them, it's going to be Team BALLISTAS. And then we have Team Excuse Me with 5 kills. REGNUM CARYA is still surviving, being at the top 1. They want to show a consistency, because 1 or 2 good maps means they'll be all the way up in a lead of 20 to 30 points. And even if they lose out any match in a very first position, they might not be concerned much. But Kaiser gets spotted, gets damaged, but the retaliation is beautiful from the side of Kaiser, as now he wants to go in for the heal. Let's see if he gets spotted or no. Yes, he does. Trix is going to take him down, and that's going to be the end for the side of Team NEXUS. Alongside that, Team RUYA Esports.
Excuse Me on the other corner is going to be left with Fury, and he's actually trying his level best to come up with some good decent shots. He's got the Lambo in his favor. He's trying to rotate. Maybe the rotation won't be that comfortable because obviously the Waker is already in smokes, about to go ahead in flames. But before that, what happens? The damage is there, and he's going to finish him off with the vehicle burst, I believe. Excuse Me now is also excused out of the lobby. Moving forward, we have OZAROX Esports, which is also pretty much pinned down in this particular POI. And that's the exact thing that I was talking about, that yes, in the initial cycle, you have the control, you are looking comfortable in the shelter region, but what will happen after that? Because pretty soon, there is going to be a zone shift coming in, and you will be getting stuck in the edges, and that is why one good player like OZAROX's Storm is there on the other opening of the bunker, and he's just trying to survive with that. He's just trying to come up with some good arm shots to be precise. But it won't be that easy, to be honest, for him to connect any single shot, and even after connecting those shots, it will be not that easy for them to actually confirm the picks as well. At the same time, we have not RUYA, and also the Gaming Gladiators is trying to fight back with each other. Open Machine is also pretty close to the opening where he lost his teammate. Dixie on the other corner is also trying to survive. I would love to see how far the zone shift is going to take the teams. Still, REGNUM CARYA is one of those teams which is just relaxing and being on the back end is trying to wait for the right time period to strike on. And 7 teams and 21 players, that's what we are left with. Pretty much, I guess, 5 to 6 minutes are left before the first match gets over. But still, talking about the team which might actually get the chicken dinner could be one of those teams. But yeah, REGNUM CARYA now are about to receive a fight. But while 77k comes up with a beautiful lead, and ARR's support has been taken down. It's all about Strix at this point, and obviously Strix won't be able to be that to give out that kind of commitment because obviously the loss is there, and it is quite a massive loss to be precise. Now Topok is trying to fall back, and maybe Trix is actually going to come up with a revival. Well, it's not that easy for sure. Yeah, Doxy finds one. Topok gets taken down. 3-3 eliminations coming in from two good players of REGNUM CARYA, and REGNUM is the only team which is having the center POI of the particular play zone. But look at those shots from multiple angles. There are connection coming in. CARYA wants to actually go ahead and come up with some good brutal attacking formation, but that won't be that easy. Yikta finds another one, and he's going to first of all revive his own teammate. Not RUYA is not looking that decent, to be honest, when it comes to their finishes and stuff like that. They're still close to top 5 positioning, which is again a goal for every single team.
Exactly, but now with the final 18 players, let's see which team is going to be the one who wins the win over the chicken dinner in the very first start of the game. Let's see, the day has just begun already. Team REGNUM CARYA looking to give some consistency out of today. Nonetheless, Team GAIMIN Gladiators have been the one who is looking to be in a great lead. A total 7 kills is a 7-pointer for them already. And now against them, it's going to be 14 players surviving. Next RUYA, they are in a very vulnerable spot if they are at the bottom. Zone, luckily, is somewhat favoring them, but not entirely. They have to come out, and that's where Storm is waiting. Now it's going to be Storm who will be doing so much damage to them that they could really not expect. The only thing which could stop Storm at this moment is going to be the third party from the backlines as well. Let's just manage to take them down, or else they do have to go on with some other tunnel. But now damage comes through, and Injury against the one who will be taken down. Meantime, Gladiators are also rotating in. Let's see how the players of next RUYA are gonna, come back. I think this is not gonna be an easy task. A Molotov towards the stag, but I don't think there's anyone there. Nonetheless, it is a stag being cleared, but the grenade, the team nade, is gonna burn some time out of GAIMIN Gladiators, and just in case if the kill comes in, that would be just unfortunate. But meantime, Lemtrix gets taken down, and that's the end for Team ARR.
Yeah, but all thanks to MELISE Esports, which was able to get the final closure on that particular team. Pretty much soon, I believe we might see more fights coming in, and that's exactly what is happening. Zelicon is trying to actually bounce back and secure Miku, which is again a very good player from the team which is known as GAIMIN Gladiators. But eventually the confirmation came in from another team. Tixi is now trying to retaliate. Tixi now is trying to return the favor as well. At the same point, they have got 7 amazing finishes, which is kind of decent play. But Miku, the guy with the 3 amazing finishes, already out of the equation. Some good MP45 trees are coming in. Definitely controlling that recoil is not going to be easy when you talk about the guns like MP45, but still the connections are coming in. Still the damage, the pressure is actually being relieved at this point. Okay, Wolf finds another one, and at the same time Matic also gets taken down. Along with Matic, Pixie was also taken down. Kitsune now becomes the last man standing. The only ray of hope for the team is going to be here. And at the same time, I would love to add on that Kitsune was able to secure 5 amazing eliminations. No, Matic is not going to survive because he's already bleeding out way too harshly. And BESIKTAS might actually have the upper hand of this particular fight because Kitsune and Storm are the only 2 players surviving down that bunker. There was a domination coming from next RUYA, but also an elimination factor coming in for them. Zelicon finds another one. Okay, Lewis retaliates. Lewis was able to take one more down. I would love to see how far this competition is going to go. One more nade. This could be the closest nade. Oh, the nade was close, but eventually the placement was not that right. Again, the retaliation is coming in. There could be some more revivals coming in, but Zelicon wants to push forward at this point because he knows if he misses and if the push is going to get delayed, Luxi might actually get taken down. So he's doing everything that is there in his capable hands. Zelicon is also about to receive a good nade. Yes, the nade was there, but not that close enough. On the hindsight, we definitely have a devious shot coming in. Okay, Zelicon has been taken down, and Lewis is going to completely finish him off. I really believe that before the revival comes in. And yes, Jesse also gets taken down. Kitsune is doing everything that was there in his capable hands. But at the end, yes, the closure is there. What is happening? Lewis is just being very aggressive. Lewis is just being very opportunistic. And he is, of course, going to finish off the guy known as Zelicon before he gets taken down with a vehicle crash. And now we are left with BESIKTAS full manpower. OZAROX's single man advantage hands. And on the other corner, we do have REGNUM CARYA's 2 good players surviving in the game. So let's see how BESIKTAS is going to have the complete control out of it. No doubt BESIKTAS have got an idea. They've heard the shots coming in, and OZAROX is going to find one down. He's going to completely finish him off. I mean, he's trying his level best to just completely shut that player down. Obviously, it won't be that easy. Now, OZAROX is also coming up with a nade. Same goes for the other players as well. So those nades can be very critical. And finally, the elimination is there. That is Storm, who has been taken down from the back end. Now, REGNUM CARYA should push in. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to have the upper hand in this particular fight. They are going to spot the player. Yes, the sprays are coming in. The damage could be there. Oh, this storyline, this attacking formation, this aggression is looking way too good. But Luxy, one of those MVP players for the team, is still unable to find any single pick at this moment. And I'm actually surprised to see that kind of stuff happening. But once again, the drop advantage is going to be there. Let's see what kind of gun he's going to pick. They have the Groza, they have got the M4s as well. And level 3 West helmet is obviously going to get replenished. With that, it's a 2v4 type of situation. On the verge of a extinction is going to be REGNUM CARYA. But the thing is, the team known as, I believe, BESIKTAS Esports is actually stuck on an edge. They have to come out of that bunker. And exactly like OZAROX's Storm, they can be pinned down by this particular team known as REGNUM CARYA.
What a give to team REGNUM CARYA. I mean, what was that play from Wild? He just ran over Buggy against two bodies. He got both the kills with a single Buggy slam, and that is just unbelievably good. Now it's a risky fought for the side of Zeshi, as he is down to a low HP. Wild's nade could be so well timed here, because before he pops off a first aid, the nade would do the job, and that's what seems to be the case. Zeshi gets taken down from the side of Lexi. Now it's down to a 3 versus 2. Still looks doable for team REGNUM CARYA. Both the teams are down to like 3 and 2 players, but both the teams do have 8 kills. And only one thing in mind, which is going to be the winner of the chicken dinner. Now the numbers advantage somewhere down the line is going to be denied from the side of BESIKTAS. But still, enjoy just peeking in. He spots both the players, one towards airdrop, another one towards the southern position of the rocks. And the zone is actually playing against the player towards the airdrop position. So Loxy has to find his way in towards the circle. Peace slowly, steadily wants to walk in. Let's see if Peace could bring any impact or no. This is the final fight in a 2 versus 3 scenario. And team REGNUM CARYA, do they manage to just come up with yet another winner in a chicken dinner? If they win it, I think it has to be like, a 22 points chicken dinner, because they have to get 3 kills, which means at least 12 points and 10 points for chicken dinner. But if team BESIKTAS wins it, I think this would be an easy 20 pointer for them too. Let's see which team is going to get that crucial 10 points in their favor. Zone is going to play a key role, and Loxy going on for a very risky move. This is what is the most riskiest part, but somewhere down the line, he just manages to stay alive on the skin of his teeth, while meanwhile wanting to retaliate. Spots one down. Still, he doesn't know have to enjoy. Might really get aggressive, and if he does, Wild would be ready to punish him.
Now, finally, he's got an idea where the player is, and now he's going to come out with some throwables so that he can disorientate the aggression coming in from the particular team known as BESIKTAS Esports. And due to that kind of play coming in, I believe the player can sneak up on the particular play zone. And yes, Luxy is actually on the edge of the particular play zone, as we can see. Another shift, another hard shift to be precise, can actually be the end. Okay, this is the 9th play zone. That's interesting. Now, everything can actually go down to dust pretty soon. But yes, the control from the BESIKTAS Esports is coming in. They were trying to come up with some good throwables, and they were waiting patiently for this time, particularly where they had the opportunity. But,
no.
Man, Luxy gets taken down. Now it's a 1v3 situation where Son HP is actually down to his final 10 HPs, but he's going to replenish himself. He's going to be back in the formation, and while 77k is already getting attacked a lot, even if this team is not going to get a chicken dinner, I'm actually quite stoked to see the consistent play coming in. This need could be the final one, and yes, it is. Now, BESIKTAS Esports is going to be the unformidable champion of this particular matchup. I believe somewhere around 19 to 20 points is what they're going to get. A very decent chicken dinner indeed coming up in the grand final, smash number 11, which is again a very impressive job being delivered from this particular team. BESIKTAS Esports had the complete control. Zone favored them a lot. Other than that, if they had to rotate from the bunkers, like the way OZAROX had to do, the way Gaming Gladiators had to do, the way RUYA had to do. At that point, I guess things won't be that comfortable for BESIKTAS Esports. But all in all, as I said, they can easily jump from the hashtag 8, hashtag 9 position to the hashtag 5 position, because there was not a lot of buffer. The buffer was of just 6 rounds, 6 maps, 6 points, I believe. And with that, a 20-pointer bomber coming in their favor, 2200 is the right amount of damage that they were able to dish out. And finally, we have got the winner with the chicken dinner stats as well. And the Peace, the guy known as Peace, was not at all peaceful, because you can clearly see that the damage is pretty close to the 1000. Damage taken is also indeed quite high. Same goes for Jesse, if I'm not wrong. And 4 eliminations, 3 knockouts are also coming in from the guy known as Peace.
Oh yeah, I think what a team for the Sar team, the Listers. I think they play the zone pretty well, and often we don't see them up with these 4-man advantage. After day one, what happened in day 2 and 3 is that every other time they go towards the Asiana, they do manage to take down team SBG. But somewhere down the line, as you mentioned, the consistency for REGNUM CARYA is just phenomenal. 4,481 meters travel. Like, where did Team REGNUM CARYA even fall off? I think they were all the way towards these mid positions. I think it was near the school and Pochinki mid zones, and from there till the route of shelter, it's like at least 900 meters or something, and that's the entire distance. All 4 players covering up of a total of 4,481 meters. Has distance still goes towards the start of GAIMIN Gladiators, but GAIMIN Gladiators were looking powerful. And out of all the kills which they got in the first half of the game, somewhere down the line they again lost their momentum in the second half. But talking about the MVP, it's going to be Kitsune. 5 elimination, 1097 damage, 8 throwables and 1 assist. This man was just a beast within its own self, and this is what Team GAIMIN Gladiators needed. I was talking about them having like 9 kills already in the first half of the game. The moment they came into the second half, it was such a tricky zone. Like, even Team RUYA didn't manage to get much out of it. They were trapped down near the, I'll say, bottom positions of Seavers. And being in the shelter, being down towards those bunker and tunnel position isn't the most, brightest of them. But Kitsune, not just the MVP, but the player with the longest elimination distance, a total healing down of 9,298. I think overall in the end circles, one thing which was really something to talk about is that we almost went till the 9th circle. Normally, it's the 7th circle where the winner chicken dinner comes in. Maximum, it's the 8th, but at this time, it was the 9th one. And at Erangel, if we are seeing this close matchup, I don't know, we can just imagine what Miramar would look like. But BJK, which is going to be BESIKTAS Esports, manages to get 20 points added in their points table, which will now put them in the top 5 position. REGNUM CARYA adds 15, which means 119 almost to their points table. GAIMIN Gladiators with 12, OZAROX Esports with 8, Team RUYA with 7 for MELISE, Excuse Me with 6, ARR with 4, Team BRA Esports with 2, Team none other than FLUX, Lee Europe, Major Pride and Food Esports with 1. An unfortunate sad ending for the side of NEXUS and SBG. Nonetheless, Team NEXUS was still surviving in the top 12 position when the fight did go on. Unfortunate for them that they didn't have the best possible location or the position to play with in the end circles.
REGNUM CARYA definitely have got the buffer at this point. They've got 119 points. I mean, if we talk about the previous matchup, they had 104 points and right now they have 119. The buffer is actually getting equated for sure. Like MADBULLS is actually quite close. They have got 97 points, which is again a very good thing. ARR Esports on the other corner is also going to jump up a position. And look at BESIKTAS Esports, plus 5 positions. That's what they have jumped from hashtag 9 to hashtag 5. That was a very glorious, I guess, jump coming in from their particular perspective, but still they have to go a long way if they want to be in the top 3 and also have the chunk of the prize pool, because there are teams like ARR Esports, MADBULLS and also REGNUM, which is not going to let it go that easily, and that's the kind of anticipation that I already have in my mind. And I would love to see how far Major Spide and their other teammates are going to push forward and what kind of points they are actually going to get, because yeah, the speculations are there that pretty soon Major Spide will be able to bounce back a lot, but eventually you can clearly see that 57 points, and on the hindsight the table topper is having 119 points. That is more than the double points that is there from the table topper. SBG on the other corner and also FUT Esports, I'm actually quite surprised to see teams like those which are already getting the chicken dinner, which had the initial chicken dinner to be precise, which had the initial momentum in the first day, but right now their momentum is just going down to drain. They are unable to perform, they are unable to get the picks, but seems like that it's a bit too early to talk about that because things are changing rapidly in the later stages. Like, we are left with 4 more matches, which is going to be a decent thing to talk about. Like, we have the Miramar coming in, and then after that Erangel, then after that Miramar, and also to some of the day to the Erangel. After a quick short break, we'll talk about all those stuff. Welcome back once again, guys. Indeed, as promised, we are back with a short break, and eventually, let's talk about the recap. Besiktas Esports got the first victorious matchup for the day number 3 of this phase number 1, and it was a 20-point bomb, if I'm not wrong. Now, moving forward, the map of Miramar will come into the play. Obviously, one of those maps where 5 Esports will be quite opportunistic and quite hungry for the winner chicken dinner. I would love to see how this particular team is going to perform, because obviously the competition has been evolved a lot, and 5 Esports is getting shut down every now and then in the particular map of Myanmar, and also in Erangel, they are not even able to set their foot. They are unable to get the revivals as well, stuff like that. But let's go to the prediction. I was coming very close to REGNUM CARYA's prediction in the previous matchup, but still, my prediction for this particular match is going to be 5 Esports. Let's go with them. What about you, Apko?
Oh, I think it's the map of Miramar, and I think slowly, steadily, Team ARR could be the one whom I'd really love to give my predictions to. So let's go on ARR and let's see which team is it going to be the one. Indeed, it's going to be an interesting one. Team REGNUM CARYA are the one with the lead currently. Just from backlines, I think when we look after the overall scorecard after this one match, you'll get to see that which all other teams have slowly, steadily made themselves in the triple-digit club of the entire, points table. 16 teams, and I think one of the first teams is going to be REGNUM CARYA. Just from behind its team ARR, and I think it has to be from a winner chicken dinner's perspective that they managed to get themselves up. Next, RUYA is also going to be someone to watch out for. SBG is one of those teams who are completely looking, like as if they are just out of the race here. They are not even considering themselves right now. And I mean, if they want to fight, they are fighting. And if they just engage themselves in terms of any 4v4, either they win it in a good fashion, either they just lose. There's not even a single player who would want to fall back with that fight. Like often we do see that if the fight doesn't goes in your favor, do call out 1 or 2 players to just fall back and play for the position points here. But at this time, what's happening for the team SBG is something really unfortunate. Nonetheless, we wouldn't deny the team MADBULLS have also shown us some promising plays here in the map of Miramar, as this is going to be the second match of today. As the matches goes on, there are just less and less number of maps which will be in the for all the teams, and this phase 1 would potentially come to an end by only 3 more maps remaining. Up next is going to be Miramar, and it's going to be the plane path which is going to be coming on screen with us.
Alright, let's have a look into the flight path as well. It is a very decent flight path coming in. It is starting from the areas of Alcantara or maybe Ruins, and it is going towards the Los Venus region. Impala region would be there at the end. Oh, not Impala, I believe Puerto could be actually at the end. Yeah, the flight path is there, and yes, it is indeed starting from Alcantara. It is moving towards like El Pozo and then eventually touching the Los Venus marker. And after the flight path gets over, we do have Puerto Paracio and then last, I guess, drop location as the last drop location to be precise. But all in all, I would love to see how the confrontation is going to go. The thing is that gaming gladiators is once again trying to approach the Lacob region, which is again a very secluded drop location when it comes to the dropping, I guess, track of this particular lobby, because every now and then teams are trying to approach for those positions which are close to the flight path rather than going a bit more far away. But same can't be said for gaming gladiators, and also same can't be said for teams like MADBULLS. But MADBULLS is actually in a very big flank. You can clearly see some players are in Monte, some players are actually trying to go ahead for maybe some other region. So it's a huge split coming in. They are actually split in multiple compounds, and look at Flyky. He's also trying to fly way too far away, but he's actually going to get connected pretty soon by maybe, excuse me, if that actually happens. But yeah, the circle is looking decent. Circle is not at all on the edgy corners. It is a very central circle coming in where we have Minaj and Lilith Graveyard and also Lava Nita coming up in the center POI.
Oh yeah, surely, and I think for esports SBG, the iconic fight for Sen Martin still goes on. I think most probably it's been like a 50-50 most of the time. SBGs are the one who comes up atop. But like in Erangel, I think almost Ballistic Esports are there to make things worse for them. And here it's Team Foot. But what are we seeing? Melee for the win? No, that's not the case. 7 is going to take down OZAROX, and that's unfortunate for him as he falls down. 3 more players remaining. I think weapons are going to be something to still consider for the start of Team Foot, but I think they will manage to get away with 1 kill. Oh, that's not the case. DBS is coming in. What? That's not a DBS, my bad. Excuse me. It's the S12K, which gets him the first knock. In the counter, there is a double barrel, but what a shot! What a jump attack coming in from the side of Wing as he finds one. Now it's down to only 2 players from the side of SBG, and they're just punching. them apart to get those first blood, to get those first eventual numbers to themselves. Two more players just crawling around. I think it's going to be such a big win. Now Team SBG are down to only one player in a 1 versus 3, and SBG wants to go on with some nog, but the retaliation comes through, and that's a 4 easy nog. And some points being gathered away from the side of Team Ford. SBG yet for another time will be falling apart, and that is just unfortunate. One team already out of the equation, 15 more remains, and then Team FUT, which is going to be for esports, is going to be the one who will somewhat down the line look to bring a very big change in this game. But Lee Europe and Team RUYA Esports also always fire up towards the side of, Minas Grenades, and I think most of the time it is none other than Teams Lee Europe who comes up on top. This time, I believe RUYA Esports are just cornering them in a very vulnerable position. As the rotations are going to close down, I think Lee Europe don't have much loot to retaliate. And slowly, steadily, as all the players are closing down, like step by step, Lee Europe, not just it's about the weapon inventory, but it's also about the healers. Reflect does manage to heal himself up with the first aid, but Kiza is going to be going down. Reflex versus Kiza. Let's see if Reflect could really come up. Like Kirali is going to be up with the DBS. DBS into the hands of Z Chapa as well. But now it's gonna be none other than, like Kezer. Kezer needs to find some kill. He does manage to find one. Wants to go for another one, but there comes a backup from the side of RUYA Esports. And Lee Europe is gonna be instantly denied in the 15th spot.
I mean, it's good to see that Sly Europe is still fighting back while being at the bottom of the chart, but still, they have just two players fighting for themselves in the Minas region where they usually have a drop dash. I'm actually surprised to see they fight third and eventually are now out of the equation. But OZAROX Esports on the other corner, he's also trying to rotate. They have got their own minivans, which is actually quite good. Rotations are going to be the main cause of this particular match. Every team is trying to rotate, every team is trying to have a safer haven at this point. All those teams which are outside the particular play area are now trying to figure out to get an edge in the particular circle. Those teams which have got the edge are trying to figure out a beautiful centric compound if it is possible at any cost. At the same time, we have got MADBULLS, one of those amazing teams which is actually looking very good when it comes to the overall fragging and overall MVP as well. If you guys remember, Frozen is the overall MVP for now, and Talika is the overall fragger at this point. So yeah, there are a lot of speculations coming in the later stages. Things might change rapidly, but seems like that at this point, MADBULLS is more than concerned with the loots that they are actually having and pretty close to them. FUT Esports is actually going to rotate. We have a Kairos coming in the scene, and this is the Hasina region where MELISE Esports is also rotating. We have Kiss You RTR, Lewis RTR, Poser is going to there, and also with that we have CEO as well. I guess in the day number 1, CEO was one of those chaotic players which was able to take a lot of players down to dust. But after that, in day number 2 and day number 3, it was not that fruitful. I mean, day number 3 is just started, so I would love to see some more interesting plays coming in from that guy.
Oh, surely. And with that, let's see how the end circles are going to eventually form up, because the first one is already starting to shrink in. Team GAIMIN Gladiators, they had a big numbers when it comes to the defeat points, and all thanks towards Kitsune. I think Kitsune had the game of his entire tournament so far in the previous wrangle. When it comes down to Miramar, it's somewhat tricky, but teams who are not really thinking twice to take on the fights, this really enables them to go on and take some more and more, like action to get either some kills or get eliminated. Like either which way surviving is just not going to bring them the best spot in the points table. They either have to go big, or it's just, the teams being at the top who will remain to, be unstoppable at the top positions. NEXUS is one of the teams who desperately need a fight right now, who desperately need those, kill points. If they do not manage to get it, if they just survive till the end circle and only to be eliminated, it's like all, the hard work for nothing. But now, Team Major Pride, it's a fight which carries on from a wrangle, now comes in towards Miramar, and it's going to be none other than Zelshin who is the first player to fall off. Now it's only 3 players surviving from the side of none other than, REGNUM CARYA. And Team REGNUM CARYA, they eventually were the one who came at the hashtag 2 position in the previous game, looked pretty tremendous. That consistency is looking beautiful for them. 119 points. But now as the first player falls apart, all the players from REGNUM CARYA has already called off. They're not really going in for the revenge fight up against Team Major Pride. And Major Pride, they definitely need to add some numbers here. I think they're all the way up towards the top 9 position. They get that 1 blood, but still, there's a lot of distance in terms of the point when we talk about for all players surviving. They're all the way towards the side of Los Leones, if I believe. But let's see where the zone is heading, because slowly, steadily, as the zone shrinks down, there's two teams which is going to be out of the equation. GAIMIN Gladiators still struggling to find their spot in, and also Team BESIKTAS Esports. REGNUM CARYA, on the other hand, they are just cornered in this small compound. So if any team comes on top of these mountains, this is a place where Team REGNUM CARYA could not really exit from. Either they need a vehicle to get themselves up in a safe spot, or they need another location to go on and hold. One of the buggy is yet evacuated in the mid of nowhere, so running down to that position isn't going to be that easy one. Tron and Loxy has been those iconic players. You talk about Wild, these were the 2 out of 3 players which were up in the overall MVP Fraggle list, and all thanks to the performance which they showed us yesterday. Meantime, Team ARR is also somewhat out of the zone right now. Let's see how they manage to get in. 86 points, I think now the buffer between them and that number 1 spot is all the way of 34 points. 34 points means like you should have 2 best maps for yourself, and at the same time make sure that REGNUM CRY having 2 of their worst map in the entire equation. But as you mentioned, by the end of the day, if you do believe the team REGNUM CRY has to win or might win, all they need is just to deny these early elimination. As far as they add, like 7 to 8 points in each and every game, I don't think it's going to be a tough spot. And even if they manage to win one single chicken dinner out of the 4 maps remaining, I think that could really give them a big, all the way towards the top position.
I mean, definitely that can actually happen, but at this point, I would love to add on that it's tough for every single team to actually go ahead and get the first position out in their favor, but it's even tougher for REGNUM CARYA at this point. Just maintain their own legacy and just be on top right now, because many teams are pretty much concerned about them. Every now and then, I believe every single team or the IGLs sitting on the back ends are trying to figure out how they can shut down the REGNUM CARYA, because obviously, if you eliminate the top position teams, then you can have the buffer in the game and you may be able to bounce back, because if that elimination is not going to come in, whatever the amount of the score that you are trying to set up, even if you are getting a chicken, and even if you are getting 15 to 16 points in a favor, if still REGNUM CARYA is trying to survive, they will be able to compensate and eventually set up a bigger score to achieve with. At the same time, if we talk about MELISE Esports, after taking down one from the particular lobby, Lewis to be precise, CU and also Poser and KCU are trying to rotate once again. They're trying to be on the closer vicinity. Excuse me, is also trying to rotate so that he can actually get the advantage out of the circle. Obviously, this open-ended area is going to be way too risky for them to actually approach well. But then again, they have to figure out a very good strategy from which they can fight back. There are quite a few players from, excuse me, like we have Havlik in the scene, we have got Black in the scene, we have got Tech, we have got RUYA. In the previous matchup, RUYA was one of those players which was able to get a lot of heavy lifting done and dusted, but BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner, pretty close to the lost unit region. They are still surviving, they are still trying to figure out an angle. And excuse me, they are fighting in a split location. One good player is in the 5-story building, other one is actually down the road. And if we talk about the last 2 players, they are actually on the other edge of this particular lobby. But moving forward, next RUYA is going to rotate. They have spotted 1 or 2 players, I believe. That could be maybe FLUX Esports or MADBULLS. Okay, it is MADBULLS. Now, Poser finds another one from ARR's perspective. Yes, ARR is now getting connected. They are not going to leave it that easily. But again, another play comes in. That is MADBULLS' one good player with the M416 space. He was able to take one down. And on the hindsight, it seems like that major spy is pretty much concerned for REGNUM CARYA, and they're just trying to pick 1 or 2 players out of the equation. Soulless also gets taken down by Wolf. This is interesting. FLUX is also in the fight.
And it's the map of Team FLUX. Let's see how Team FLUX is going to eventually manage to save out that one fallen player soul. Somewhere down the line, RUYA is in the line. BESIKTAS Esports is also in the back lines. And I believe just right next to them is also going to be yet another team, so Team RUYA. Let's see if they really manage to, fight up at each and every direction. 10 seconds more, the zone is going to close in, and then we're going to get this 3rd zone for the day. Now, where the 3rd zone is going to form up is going to be a big question. I think it should go towards the center of Chumachara and Los Leones. If it goes towards the northern side, it could be a big advantage for Team FLUX, and that's what it chooses. It goes towards the northern side, where Team FLUX is going to find themselves in the center. And now having the center of the entire zone, this gives them so much advantage to work with. MADBULLS is still holding the entire Picado all by themselves. So imagine the load they'll be having. Team RUYA and Team BESIKTAS is just in the bottom corners. And at the same time, Team Excuse Me is also wanting to get themselves inside the zone. Now, only one team who will still be struggling is going to be Team ARR. And lucky for them if no one wants to gatekeep. Because if they do, this is going to be not an easy task for them to get inside the zone, get all the heals up. Because they're only down to 3 players. But Becca, meantime, from the side of Team ARR is going to be slammed away with the vehicle, the zone vehicle indeed. And now I think Team ARR are down to only 2 players.
Yeah, it really feels like that AR is actually going to have a tough time with the negotiations, but there we go. Before that happens, there is an amazing amount of spray coming in. The tap shots are going to be there. Unfortunately, the gun went in on reload. Otherwise, it would have been an easy knockout coming in from OZAROX's perspective. All thanks to the jiggles coming in from Solke. It was absolutely amazing. Now, moving forward, Lutz and the guy from FLUX Esports is also trying to convert some angles. They have got the buggy covered up. They are actually trying to rotate. They're trying to be on the back ends. And definitely the connection that is there between these two teams can be quite hefty. Well, see, the being the center of attraction is not a good thing when we talk about the map of Miramar, because then you can actually compensate from multiple angles. REGNUM CARYA on the other corner has also figured out that they're going to reside in a compound and eventually fight back from that particular angle. NEXUS with the 3-man power finds one. Octavian gets a beautiful pick onto the lobby. But let's see how far Major Spider is going to go. Numi is about to come up with a beautiful M24 shot. Obviously, tagging around the players with an M24 is not going to be that easy. I mean, there is a reason why people are choosing more DMRs rather than actually going for the bolt action sniper at Culns. Reason being that they are unable to trace the player. One good shot, and after that, you have to just cock the gun and reload it, or just make it ready for the next shot. So at that point, in that buffer of 1 or 2 seconds, things can change quite rapidly. There is going to be some other team which might actually have the advantage out of it. And even if you knock out a player with a headshot coming in, the player can actually go ahead and be in the cover and get the revival done while you are reloading, while you are just cocking the gun. So yes, mini 14 stab shots, or maybe I should say like SLR is quite good when we talk about the DMR action, and also in the long range, people usually prefer mini 14s a lot because you get the 4x, 8x scope, 6x scope, and also you have the larger amount of ammo that is there. But Kitsune on the other corner finds Topok. It means once again, AR Esports is actually under pressure, and Topok, the player like that, is actually going to get limited. So right now, I really believe AR is going to have tough time surviving till the end.
30, 50 players and only 14 teams surviving yet. And I think Malik spots when Mirado being just, like evacuated it that far. TC meantime is going to go on, use his boosters to get his car and himself inside the entire zone. Team Major Pride are just, like so reformed alongside Team Nexus. ARR, again, another player from the side of ARR gets it. I mean, what are they doing right now? They fall down to their own death. Then the one final kill came in from the side of Team MELISE. And that's how they completely get, like eliminated. Team MADBULLS are the one who will recover, get the hashtag to position for them. It's just a matter of 20, I think, like 3 points or something for them to come at the top position. So far, Team REGNUM did lose a player. They haven't yet got a single elimination. Team FLUX also, luckily, all the forced players are surviving. They were executed in a fight against Team RUYA, but now it seems that most of the teams here, like out of 13, 10 teams here will be having that 4-man advantage. Nexus will be down to 3, and I think so is the case for the side of Team Brian, like Major Pride. But well, let's see how these teams are going to make their way in towards the center of the circle, because one team which do has the advantage is going to be none other than MADBULLS. MADBULLS is still towards Picardo, and no one wants to really contest Picardo, given the fact that if the zone doesn't close down towards Picardo, it's so hard for you to fall back when all the teams will be having, these Richie's advantage. And, these M4 sprays are really devastating for you to even think of going on with or traveling with any sort of vehicle. So just going, like I'll say, reach by reach is the best spot for them. But now, as 2 minutes remains in the clock, the zone has already started to shrink in. The fight between Team MELISE and FUT Esports might go on. Team FUT Esports, they do have the entire, compound for them, but they're surrounded by the players of MELISE. The trade does come through. On the other hand, it's going to be next RUYA against BALLISTIS, and I think both the teams do have got some advantage, but Levis gets taken down onto the DBS, and the DBS is just being such a sneaky gun. I mean, that is just so illegal. That out of that one AR versus AR fight, he brings out DBS and does get the advantage. Now Team MELISE are not in the best spot possible, but that's where Steven is going to go on. Wants to get some aggressive play towards MELISE, and Team MELISE are now cornered up. From the backlines, Team GAIMIN Gladiators are also closing things down, and this could be the perfect time for third party. Poser gets taken down, Kissio will be taken down, and with that, he's the only last player surviving. Let's see how Team GAIMIN Gladiators is going to get a piece of cake out of this entire celebration.
Oh yeah, MELISE has been taken down. Now this is actually the moment where GAIMIN Gladiators can actually have the upper hand. But there we go. The vehicle clash coming in. He is going to track him down for sure. But on the back ends, there is going to be another D-base confrontation coming to the play. This is Matic. A D-base versus D-base confrontation. Definitely the damage is coming in. And D-base is one of those guns which can actually help him a lot. But at the end, it is Kairos who is going to actually completely shut him down. But 9 to 8 finishes is what we are going to get. I believe 9 to 10 finishes to be precise. It's a big battle coming to the play. 11 finishes precisely. What a beautiful matchup coming in from FUT Esports. That team which is lurking on the back end, which was lurking on the back end, is now finally coming up with an unstoppable marker in the favor. I just would love to see this team reaching out to the end game and also securing the chicken dinner. Although my pick is 5-5 Esports in this particular matchup, but I would love to see FUT doing that and eventually getting the chicken dinner, because the way they are performing, they really do demand a chicken dinner at this point. And even if they are unable to be in the top 3, they will be still in our hearts, because the performance is looking absolutely optimum and looking absolutely amazing as well. Excuse me, on the other corner is another big squad which is actually getting cashed at this point by not RUYA, because you can clearly see there was a beautiful retaliation coming in, and in an open space one good player of that particular team has already been taken down. Frozen is once again trying to push forward. He knows that there is an opportunity that he can actually nail out. So I would love to see how far this connection is going to go. I would love to see how this particular fight is going to result. But yes, the play zone is also pretty close, so they don't have to be in a rush while securing the advantage of the play zone. At the same time, we have REGNUM CARYA also coming up in a central PUI. No, not sure as Frozen X has been taken down, but this knockout is not enough for them to push forward. Okay, they are pushing. I mean, the decision can backfire. But yeah, I mean, that's the decision that they're trying to push forward with. DBS is in the hand, but still M4 is going to be much more fruitful. With that, two good player of this particular team has been taken down. I mean, the 3 players have been picked off, to be precise, and Havli becomes the last one surviving player from the team known as Excuse Me. And this is not at all looking comfortable, because he was sitting on the back end. Now he's way too far away. He's not going to come up with a revival, and with that kind of loss, Nostrio is going to actually get a large boost in this particular performance. Obviously, 5+ Esports is pretty close to them, but then again, there is not a single question that a third party will not come in. Soulless comes up with a beautiful spray. Was able to take down one good player. 3 good finishes already in the hands. They might actually go ahead for more and more securing finishes, and it's good. Coming from the back ends, have got the rigid advantage, and he can actually go ahead and shoot down some players. Obviously, he has been spotted and now next to you now right now are trying to tag him around, trying to finish him off. It will be not easy. OZAROX on the other corner also gets taken down. One good player from the team. I believe that's Sapphire who has been picked off. No doubt OZAROX is also there with the full manpower, but the team that they are facing against is actually looking good. FUT Esports, will they be able to shut down Raz as well? This is going to be a very demanding fight coming in. The nade is actually quite close. Both of them actually are getting damaged with the nade, but it's a 1v1 situation coming into the play. This play is actually going to be optimum. One final shot, and yes, it is done. Another knockout came into the play. I don't know what is happening to FUT Esports, but seems like that they have another type of approach coming in. They're just completely fearless. They're not even worried about even a single thing. The more DBS picks are going to come in, and with that, FUT is still going to find their own form of grasp. 14 finishes, that's what they have. MADBULLS on the high side is also trying to fight back. Prize Esports, yes indeed, they got eliminated. FLUX is trying to retaliate. Match Salika has been taken down. Now Flaky can be one of the guy who is about to get picked off. Ooh, that spray was absolutely amazing. With that, a knockout comes in. Soulless has been picked off. Is that knockout going to be enough? Ah man, 3 good players of this team has been taken down. One final shot, and that's it. The connection was there. Now the revival should come in ASAP, because next RUYA might actually push forward, or some other team like OZAROX Esports could actually approach this particular fight. But a commendable job indeed coming in from 5-5 Esports. Indeed, they are the true champions of this particular map of Miramar, because they know how to, I guess, disregard a push coming in like that from a team which is quite strong.
Oh my god, they survived in that 1 pixel. And that was such a close 2 versus 4 from the side of Team MADBULLS. Nonetheless, it was a fight for the hashtag 2 position. And now after them being taken down, it's just a buffer of 7 rounds. Team FLUX just needs 7 more points, and I think out of that, it's going to be all that they need. But let's see how Team REGNUM CRY is going to retaliate, as they haven't yet got the first point till the game. If any team here gets taken down, imagine if Team BESIKTAS Esports, the final player, gets taken down. I think that's the first point which they would manage to get, because the 8th, after being in the top 8 position, you do manage to get 1 point for the 7th and 8th spot, 2 points for the 6th, and then the points table just goes on. But now the next circle could go towards the bottom side. Let's see how it's going to pan out. RUTHLESS Esports is all the way up towards the mid side, and that's where a mid circle being formed up, which gives yet another advantage over the side of Team REGNUM CRY. Just above them, it's going to be Team BESIKTAS, but they have to make sure that they completely deny these fights. They have to survive till the top 5, till the top 4, and they have to make sure that all the teams against them fight up against each other, so that they manage to get those crucial positioning points. Here on, if they move on and get few finish points, it's not the bad worst thing for them, but it's that, the center of attention would definitely point towards all direction might point towards themselves. And then being a solo player, you're getting like totally fired up and like spotted from each and every angle. It's it's a real tough spot. If you take a single, like knock, it's a knock. But if someone takes a knock out, it's not going to be a knock. It's going to be a clean elimination. So that's what I think, Team MELISE is going to be worried about. And it's not just them. It's also the solo player surviving from the start of Excuse Me. Excuse Me, meantime, is also going to be out of the play circle as the zone is now slowly, steadily shrinking in. Oxus with the numbers advantage. Team FLUX having all the favorite players alive, and Team 4 Esports as well with 14 total frags. And all 4 players alive in the top 12 position. Let's see how situation goes on. A missed smoke grenade. There goes another smoke. Let's see if they could really slowly, steadily walk in, because just right next to them, it's going to be none other than next RUYA.
Oh yeah, that is an amazing anticipation coming in from Major Spy. They're trying their level best to conquer and eventually get the advantage out of it. But after putting down that kind of spray, they definitely have got the attention coming in from NEXUS, and NEXUS might actually be able to put down some good shots. But Nomi, he's trying to flick around with this barrel, and also the M24 that he's got in his backpack along with the suppressor. I would love to see how FUT is also going to perform in this particular matchup. But all REGNUM CARYA has to do is just be patient, survive till the end, because they are about to receive their first placement point. Because if they are able to survive in the top 8, definitely the placement points will start coming in, and after that they can actually rather go ahead and gather some good finishes as well. Major Spide on the other corner, Nomi is trying to rotate, but before that happens, if it finds a beautiful need, and with that one good player has been taken down. Excuse Me on the other corner also gets eliminated. It is not looking good for next RUYA, because that kind of push is obviously going to obstruct their legacy, obstruct their angles to be precise. Monkison, and also we have Nomi, which is already pushing forward, which has got the edge of this particular area. Some more throwables, some more nades are going to get utilized. You can clearly see Monkison is already getting attached with some good shots. OZAROX on the other corner is also receiving some good punches, and they're getting players down. And Nomi on the other corner has been taken down. Now this is an opportunity which maybe next RUYA can actually maybe cherish at this point. 4 amazing finishes is there, but let's see how far they can go. Obviously the rotations are not going to be that easy part. Nomi has been taken down, no second chances for that particular guy. But yeah, all in all, indeed, Effect is looking quite strong. He's trying to fall back. He's trying to survive at this point. Has got the buggy cover in his favor. But before that happens, the shots are coming in. Multiple shots to be precise are coming in. And there are quite a few needs also getting cooked up. Monkison could be getting it cooked off very soon, because the need placement was actually quite on point. But still, barely surviving. But for how much time is this guy going to survive? That's the big question. OZAROX, and on the hindsight, FLUX is going to take up a fight. Monkison also gets taken down. Now it's all about Effect, and on Major Spy to be precise is about to get taken down pretty soon. REGNUM CARYA on the other corner finds another one on FUT. That means finally REGNUM CARYA has the devotion to be back in the fight.
Exactly, and with that, it's a domination on for the start of Team Next RUYA, as they still manage to hold the push coming in from the start of Team MADBULLS. But at the same time, now it's going to be Major Pride who gets eliminated at the 8th spot. Now this leaves us with only 7 teams. It's going to be Team REGNUM CARYA with no finishes yet. Team FLUX who just enters the zone right now. And from the back, there's one team which is putting a lot of pressure onto them. And taking a look there, I think it's going to be none other than Team Oxus and FLUX Esports. Let's see if that's Team FLUX Esports or no. FLUX Esports is just right next to them, and it's going to be none other than Oxus Esports, who are putting a lot of pressure onto the start of Team FLUX. FLUX, nonetheless, they have a good position to work with. Meantime, Team Next RUYA, they're going to spot the players of Team FLUX, and the retaliation comes in from both sides. Both the teams are having a 4 versus 4 fight, but it's a long distance fight. Meantime, Team FLUX Esports lose out that one player, so the revival has to come through. Out of that 14 frag, now the situation is somewhat slowed down, but it doesn't stop Team FUT from still getting these frags. REGNUM CARYA, the first player, does get taken down. There are still 2 more remaining, and that's where Wild is going to come in with the DBS. Finds the first one, is looking for another one. Meanwhile, will confirm the kill. This is going to annoy the start of Team FUT Esports, but the retaliation looks good. One single player surviving from the start of REGNUM CARYA. Is already up with an AK and an FPP mode. But meantime, for esports, the backup arises, and so does the nice Team Nexus Esports. Tron comes out to get the advantage of the third party, but how is that retaliation so quick?
18 finishes.
They were all the way down to only 1 or 5 HP, and with 5 HP, they managed to take down the final player. Been awake at Team FUT Esports, yet surviving 18 total finishes, as you mentioned, Raider. This is completely going a record-breaking match. The best record which we have seen is yet 21 frags, still to come at the 2nd spot. So let's see how Team FUT Esports, with only 2 players standing, managed to crawl their way back up towards the number 1 position. Now it's Team FLUX who have to defend their title to be the winner chicken dinner champions here at Miramar.
Oh yeah, but before that happens, I believe one good player has been taken down. Same goes for Soulless as well. He has been traded off. So yes, the trade fire is coming in. I guess this is an opportunity where Team RUYA can actually establish themselves and come up with a domination factor in their favor. Pretty soon, I believe FUT Esports is also trying to rotate. OZAROX on the hand side is actually going to be a bit more passive because they know they will actually strike on the right time period. But before that, there is an elimination type of situation coming in. There were some multiple space. Not that easy for them to just completely get the advantage out of it, but still, Solki is trying his very best with the angles in its favor and trying his very best to establish a dominance factor. I would love to see how far this situation goes on. There is another drop in the close by vicinity, which is going to help this guy with the level 3 loots. I don't know which type of gun he's actually going to get out with, but I guess the vest is already damaged, so that's kind of a I guess, depressing thing for this particular guy because obviously he wanted the West. His West was already damaged. OZAROX Esports on the other corners has also decided to rotate pretty rapidly. And while this is happening, OZAROX Esports could actually have the upper hand in this particular fight. And yes, Solis once again gets picked off. Not a good thing to be honest, but then FUT Esports is having the run for the life at this point, and look at that. One good player has been taken, another one is actually getting confronted. 19 finishes up is what we are looking at. Kairos is actually off to a very good start. He has got 9 finishes altogether individually. I mean, that's huge, man. There are some teams which don't have the overall 9 finishes, to be honest. And this guy, all in all, has secured 9 amazing finishes. I mean, this is the kind of gameplay that we were talking about. Again, the player is going to get spotted, but unfortunately, before the spottation is done and dusted, the guy was on reload. But still, his own teammate was able to find him out. 20 amazing finishes are already there. 5-5 Esports is also trying to survive. We do have OZAROX on the edges. And if we talk about NEXUS, they definitely have got the central UI in their favor, which is again a good thing. But pretty soon, the edgy compounds, the edgy areas will be getting, I guess, confronted. Kairos on the other corner is already getting attacked. You can clearly see that the HP is not at all looking good for Kairos, but he has to heal himself. Now, finally, once again, we are going to move on to the 9th circle. This is the second map where it is actually having, if we are talking about the 9th circle. Obviously, this 9th circle is going to be way too chaotic because we have to consider the fact that multiple teams will rotate, multiple teams will pressurize each other, and there's a central shift coming in. Every single guy from team known as 5-5 Esports is trying to have an advantage in the center POI. OZAROX Esports will actually come up with a very good need, but before that need actually gets connected, there is going to be a spray, there is going to be a retaliation coming in, and bit by bit, FUT Esports is also picking up the players. Seems like that. Next week is getting taken down. Oh man, I was not at all expecting that kind of approach coming in, but finally, OZAROX Esports is still surviving. I would love to see how FUT is going to punch up to that angle. Solki now becomes the last one surviving, if I'm not wrong. Kesh, okay, Kesh was also surviving. That's decent. Nox. And Nanox is going to come up with a Molly. Let's see how his Molly connection is going to be there. But before that, a complete retaliation coming in. 22 finishes from FUT, but FUT is about to get finished off. It does seem like that because they don't have the zone advantage, they don't have the right angles, and pretty much the 9th circle is going to be very much chaotic, and the zone damage of that 9th circle is actually going to be quite high. But finally, 5-5 Esports nails their 5th match in the Miramar, also in their favor. Remember guys, 5 matches of Miramar has happened, and in that 5 matches, the 5-5 Esports was able to take down 4 matches in their favor. That is huge coming from their perspective.
That is just tremendous work from the side of Team FLUX. As you mentioned, 5 maps, and out of 5 they won 4. Now the winner chicken dinner ratio goes up to 80%. And I think with this consistency, this team is just a beast out there. And with that win, let's see what spot they will be up. Oh, they'll be up at the 2nd spot. So the fight for 2nd, they overtake the side of Team MADBULLS. They overtake the side of, I think, yet another team, which was Team ARR Esports, who got eliminated at the very top spot. But with those 20 points, now the team from Turkish is going to go in towards the top 2 position. Number 1 still belongs to Team REGNUM CARYA. But REGNUM CARYA will only manage to get some single-digit placement point. They didn't got any much kills. I think the maximum kills or elimination they got was only 2. But we got to look after the stars of Team FLUX at the same time. 4 elimination coming in from the side of Ketch, Loads with 2. There we go with Soulless 2 and Solki also with 2. But damage being done was 758. But one team which you cannot just ignore, it has to be the side of Team FUT Esports. What a performance by them. What an individual performance by them. Total distance traveled by the side of Team FUT Esports was indeed 6,510 meters, following which it is going to be Team FLUX with 6,391 meters. Highest goes along the side of Team RUYA, all the Turkish team being in the equation, 7,965 and 7,359 for OZAROX Esports. But now with that, let's see who is going to be MVP of the entire map of Miramar. This was the first Miramar for the day 3 at Ruthless. like Europe Invitational, and it has to be none other than Kairos. For esports has to come up on top. More elimination than what any other team could have. Total 9 elimination, 1215 damage, 9 throwables and 2 assists. Kairos was on a roll, and it wasn't just Kairos, it was the entire team. But the way he denied Team NEXUS is going to be something interesting to talk about. He was one solo player surviving the fight was going between the side of Team FLUX and Team NEXUS, and that's where Kairos came in. And from the bottom reach, you don't expect the player down to a bottom reach to get so much damage onto you. But nonetheless, Kairos is going to be nonetheless everywhere. He is going to be in the highest knockout, highest damage, and also highest elimination. From the side of, I think for esports, Seven is also going to be one of the players with highest assists. From next RUYA is going to be none other than Yekta Go Up, who goes up with the highest healing done in the entire game.
Match summary is really showcasing us that how the players were performing and eventually what are the pretty much factors that where I guess Kairos is absolutely amazing. No doubt. Despite of being a chicken dinner for 5+ esports, I guess the start of the match is for sure going to be players like Kairos and also the team known as FUT esports. I would love to see how far that positioning is going to actually push them. I believe somewhere around like 13 to 14 position is going to be there for them. But at the end, 28 amazing points in an individual match. That's a huge score line being set. And I really hope that Chicken Dinner could have actually come in from their particular perspective, although FLUX Esports was my pick. But then again, FUT Esports, if they would have secured the Chicken Dinner, this would have been a record-breaking performance because they could have actually secured, I guess, somewhere around 30, 33, 34, 35 points like that. But yeah, FLUX Esports 20 points for them. Next to 11 for them. OZAROX Esports with 8. REGNUM CARYA with just 4 points. That means a total of 124 points is what 123 points is what they are going to have. MELISE Esports is there with 3 points, MP with 3 points as well, NEXUS with 3 points as well, BESIKTAS with 3, GAIMIN GLADIATORS with 2 points, BRA with 2 points, and I believe Excuse Me is also not going to have a lot of points in their favor. But yes, match stats are in front of us. The longest elimination was coming in from Storm's perspective, as I said. He's one of those key crucial players from OZAROX perspective, which is actually quite good. Moving forward, total healing is actually more than 10,000 and is 10,502. 75 total knockouts were there, 56 total animations, 209 throwables were used, and total 33 rescues were also delivered. So yeah, all in all, the competition was for sure surreal.
Oh, it was surely, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now the comeback has to come in, and Team FLUX has already given their mark. On the overall, another team to come towards the triple digits, it's going to be FLUX, and now the buffer stays of 18 total points. I think Team REGNUM CARYA didn't have the best map possible. It's been a while for them. Wait, did Team REGNUM CARYA never won a winner chicken dinner up till now? And up till now, I mean, they have not even won yet. I think it's just on the back of the elimination, which they are on the top. I did not really anticipated this. FLUX with 4 winner chicken dinner, and they are at the second spot. But Team REGNUM CARYA hasn't yet won a single one. MADBULLS with single, ARR with single, BESIKTAS with just the previous one. Then we had GAIMIN GLADIATORS. MELISE next RUYA still struggling for one. But on the other page also we have 4 teams with winner chicken dinner. That's BRA Esports, for esports. Then we had Major Pride and SBG. But for esports, it's a big climb for them. And this indeed is a promising climb. I think before this game itself, they had somewhat like 34 points. Then they got like a 27-point marker, where now they come up at 61. So that's like, you can see, they jumped all the way from 14 to 15 spot to the number 10 spot, which is like, +5 for them. 2 points lowering for the start of Team Major Pride, which is just unfortunate. That's it for the second game for the day. That is not going to be, all. We do have so much more action in line with us here at the Ruthless, Europe Invitationals. And I'd love to see how you guys are going to be really excited for it, as the up next map, it's going to be none other than Erangel, where we will be heading over. But before that, let's call off for a quick short break. We'll see you guys when the Erangel starts.
Well, yeah, after a quick short break, indeed, we are back and eventually looking at the schedule, we can clearly see that BESIKTAS Esports had the first ever map for the day number 3 in their favor with 20 pointers Bomber, and same goes for FLUX Esports because the first ever map of Miramar for this particular day was in the favor of FLUX Esports. I mean, we have been talking about the consistency coming in from FLUX Esports whenever we talk about the map of Miramar, and it is quite auspicious. Now, moving forward, we have Erangel to embark the halfway journey of this particular day, and eventually we have Miramar and also an angle to sum up the day. So 2 angles and 1 Miramar is also left. I would love to see how far the car establishment is going to go. Obviously, it's not going to be that easy for a lot of teams to survive at this point, but still, the struggle is for real. I was not expecting FUT coming up with a 28 bomber, but the way they were able to perform is obviously going to push them to the 12th position, which is again a very good victorious fight for them. One more performance like that can easily make their way to top 5 or maybe top 6 as well. If that happens, it will be absolutely amazing because after that, 2 more matches are going to be left, and in those 2 more matches, they can be pretty much consistent and maybe go ahead and secure the top 3 positions. Although this is a very demanding speculation, to be honest, because the top 3 teams are about to go ahead and I mean, 2 teams out of them are already in the 100 plus marker, and eventually 1 team is also about to approach it. Now, moving forward to the predictions, I would like to actually go for, let's say, MADBULLS. MADBULLS is going to be my pick for this particular matchup.
All right, I'd love to go for the side of Team MELISE Esports this time. Let's see how the prediction eventually does go on. I'm going to be really excited to see how the entire game is going to pan out. We have 3 more games remaining. And with that, I believe it's going to be none other than the team FLUX, who are just down to 18 points of buffer to come at the number 1 position. It's not going to be an easy one for the side of REGNUM CARYA to maintain that number 1, but all they need is these consistent points, they have been adding all the way since the very, I'll say first game. I think first game they eventually added some good numbers. After that, now also they just added a few, quite like 3 to 4 points, and that wasn't quite enough for them. So this has to be the time where they eventually do manage to get a lot of value, a lot of points in the entire equation. If not, then they have to be ready that the advantage or the lead which they made is now just closing down slowly, steadily. But it's not just one map. It's 3 more games. You can afford to perform bad in one. You can afford to perform bad maybe in other. But then the last one has to be a chicken dinner for Team REGNUM CARYA. So REGNUM CARYA, they have one job, and that is to make sure that they get at least 20 points from here on. Because if they get 20 points, it'll be a very difficult spot for any team who has not yet made in the triple digit to move all the way up towards 150th. I think till now 124 points is what Team REGNUM CARYA is having. 20 to 25 more points will get them towards 149 or 150. So it's something which could be really, that benchmark that if they reach that position, they will be the one who will be at the number 1 position. But we don't know, because ARR Esports, Team MADBULLS, as you mentioned, and also alongside them now in the party, it's going to be another team who has joined in. That's going to be none other than our very own Team FLUX. FLUX haven't yet been looking glorious. The team with the most number of winner chicken dinners. 12 matches so far, out of which 1/3 of the games is been won solely from FLUX, but that's not even been yet in the map of Erangel. As now we move on to the 3rd game of today. This indeed is going to be an interesting one. Erangel for another time you're going to see, and this time it's going to be the plane path which starts from the bottom center all the way towards the northern western position. It's going to be Zarki, where the plane path is going to be ending the routes. Teams can easily go in towards Seveni, towards Georgepool, even towards Ferry Pair. And I think now it's like a real ideal situation. Only one team which will find a lot of struggle is going to be Team FUD to move on all the way towards the side of prison and shelter positions.
Alright, let's have a look into it at this point. I mean, the teams are already jumping in, and definitely due to this fight path, military base is one of those favorable positions where teams can actually jump in, and OZAROX is going to have the advantage out of it. But yes, we are missing on, I believe, maybe Sly Europe. That is the one team which we are missing on. On the hindsight, SPG is also there with the 3-man power, which is again a very big obstacle for that particular team to survive with the chicken dinner. Obviously, SPG started off way too well. If you guys remember, SPG was the one team which was able to get the first match in the favor of their particular team. They had the chicken dinner of 20 plus points, but eventually at this point, they are struggling. They are struggling harshly. They are unable to survive. They are unable to showcase their presence in the game. But yes, I'm waiting for the first play zone to come in, because that play zone is actually going to tell us a new story, tell us where the teams might actually go ahead. Okay, the play zone is kind of an interesting one. It is actually going to be a southern play zone. Definitely a lot of ships could be there. If the play zone goes in the military base island, I would be more than happy to watch out for that.
Oh, surely. I think it's going to be something which is going to be really interesting. The zone goes out towards bottom, and that's going to be Oxidus Esports who have the advantage. Team Farflux versus, excuse me, once again goes on. And Team Farflux, after realizing that they have the hashtag 2 position, if they just give it all away like that in the ego clashes, I think this ain't gonna be a delightful one for them by the end of the map. I think this is gonna just open up a window for Team ARR, for Team MADBULLS to just overtake that hashtag 2 position. The happiest team is gonna be none other than Fireflux, who will just go on and will have a steady momentum and no teams to worry about. But let's see how these three players are now gonna understand. There's no overcommitment yet from both the team. They are giving the respect to each and every one of them. Beck is going to be someone who is just right now taking the TPP advantage. Excuse me. At the same time, another fight. This time it's REGNUM, CARYA and Team Major Pride. So it's just the similar drop flow positions which you are seeing. Okay, you're missing one team, which is BESIKTAS and Team SVG. But let's see what's happening all the way towards Yasian at the same time, because these two teams are going to fight in peace right now. At the other side, Team Major Pride has already put a dent onto the side of Team REGNUM, CARYA. Team REGNUM, CARYA do get one defeat, but the revival has came in. And this time, it's not the, like Pochinki and school compounds. It's the school apartments where the fight has been initiated. Both the teams looking quite aligned when it comes to their, thinking.
See, the thing about like school parts is that you can actually have a lot of angles to hold with, and that's exactly what the other team is trying to come up with. But REGNUM, CARYA, after getting the first finish, they are looking a bit more comfortable. They're looking a bit more aggressive when it comes to their stance. Nomi on the other corner is also trying to drop down, but before that happens, an S686 shot is going to land on his body, and with that, another knockout is going to come in. This is going to be the second finish for the team, and the way they are performing, the way they are actually trying to aggress is absolutely impressive. But ARR Stopok on the other corner also receive a damn good headshot, and with that headshot, obviously, he's going to get finished off now. It's a 1v4 type of situation coming in for the last guy, or should I say the second last guy in this particular area. Okay, another jump in. Effect gets one, and is he going to be the possibility? Is it going to be a possibility where you're going to finish him off? I really doubt it, but once again, a beautiful spray coming to the play. There we go. The contestment is looking surreal. S1907 is going to be the gun in the hand. Will he be able to completely shut down the player? That's the big question at this point. The last player is actually stuck in the back end, I believe. So he's also trying to push forward. Loxy is just waiting for the right moment. He wants to actually push forward. He wants to actually get the advantage out of it. But the player might actually drop down. And before that, some more plays could actually come in. I would love to see how far this anticipation goes on. No doubt, at this point, that Major Spider is stepping up a notch. They are trying their best to get the attachment done. And Lexi finds him with the EMP45. That was a gun that has been exchanged from his own teammate. And now finally, it's all about Monkey-san. The sprays are looking amazing. Just one good shot. That's it. Okay, he's trying his level best to go ahead and eliminate the player with the S197. That was kind of a funky ass a pick coming in. But still, at the end, it is Major Pride who has been taken down. And a 1v2 from Luxury's perspective. With that overall performance coming in, 13 teams and 50 players are still surviving. REGNUM, CARYA, which was unable to get a lot of points in the previous matchup, are now already starting it off with a squad wipe.
Oh, that is really some great stuff out there for the side of REGNUM, CARYA. Finally, a sigh of relief there. Team Farflux at the same time, let's see how their scenarios goes on. I haven't seen SVG yet in the kill feed. They and Ballistic Esports definitely had those clashes. Oxidus is just enjoying the entire military base. You get the most highest tier loot here. You get like almost a load of at least 4 to 5 squads here. At the same time, if you include Never Epnoia, it's just another best part for you. So getting those ideal weapons, I think military base indeed is a very promising one. But the zone itself now as being towards these corners, now the team from the northern side, now the teams from the side of Georgepool also have to rotate towards these bottom position, and beware of the bridge camps, because that's going to be yet another point of concern which most of the teams will be having. Already the team near to the side of RUZAROX is already 800 meters away. MADBULLS meantime are going to be up with some good numbers, but do they have them good loot at the same time? I don't see I think, I believe painkillers, only one first aid into the hands of Frozen. Frozen has been that one player to talk about. Indeed, in the start of the day, you did mention that he is indeed the overall MVP #1 as well. On the back of the 1v4 clutch, on the back of those 22 total finishes, and those many damage which he dealt is just amazing. HBG, we were talking about them. It's it's beautiful to see them surviving so long and eventually trying to make a run for them in the last circles, because eventually each and every time, the first match I think they got into a drop clash with Ballistas. In the second game also they got into a drop clash with FUT Esports, and both the time they lost in their very early 5 minutes of the game. Now, if they have the chance to survive, this is going to be interesting. But with only 3 players, Let's see how promising does it sound. West, it's out of Team Ballistics at the same time. That is going to be yet another team to watch out for. I think they have changed their drop position for a while. ARR Esports, meanwhile, already set to bridge camp. But do they have those ideal weapons? I mean, in order to bridge camp, you should have those right util for yourself to take these long range fight, to have the best armor possible for you, because eventually damages are going to be exchanged. But one thing which has to remain steady for you is going to be your healers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to have your utils at this point. Eventually, if I talk about metrics, you can clearly see he does not have that much of a utility. He does have a level 2 helmet, but eventually no first aid kits and lack of band-aids is also going to be there. So definitely he's going to fall back. But Brown, they're going to find one, and that is going to be a next RUYA's player, which has been taken down. I mean, that Wolf who has been picked off. Frozen on the hindsight has got the beautiful Kar 98K. I would love to see how those shots are going to get connected. Indeed, the bolt action sniper rifle guns are not that preferable, as I said in the map of Miramar as well. Same goes for the Wrangle as well. The meta is same. The people are actually choosing a bit more of a DMR against that particular gun. But I would love to see how far this connection is going to go. The thing is, Kesses has been taken down. Now, that knockout is obviously going to put a full stop onto the aggressive stance that was there. But this might just buy the time. Next year on the corner, after losing one good player, they might actually be able to bounce back. One good finish is there from Elvis's perspective, but let's see how far the evolution goes on. And MADBULLS have actually made a very good push. They are aggressive stances coming in. Nobody has got an idea that there is a player hiding in the back end area, but finally he also gets taken down. Now Frozen is going to get completely frozen, and he is going to get eliminated for sure. The fall damage comes in, and finally one more player out of the next 2 years' performance is going to go down. So MADBULLS, they're off to a good start, but let's see how far they're going to push, because the next play zone can actually decipher a lot of things. I would love to see where the next play zone is going to go. Is it going to be the main island where the play zone will reside, or the southern island? I would love to see a southern shift coming in. That's what my pick is all about. Okay, yeah, there we go. The southern shift guys are coming in. Now the trouble arises for multiple teams which are in the main island. If they're deciding to rotate from the Nova Ripner Bridge, then FUT and MELISE is actually going to gatekeep it. And on the hindsight, if they're trying to rotate from the Nova Ripner Bridge, MADBULLS is already there. Next RUYA is there. Braz is actually going to be there. So yes, we do have multiple teams trying to take a fight at the same time.
At the same time, look after what's happening towards Norapnoya. Team MELISE and OZAROX are going to be right next to each other. Team RUYA Esports at the same time rotating, but Yekta Go Up is going to be just right next to them. Meanwhile, Limtrix gets knocked out from the side of Swan, which is going to be a little unfortunate, as OZAROX is going to be in a big advantage. Now, Strix is going to be falling back for the revival, calling in, but Swan is just right there. He spots one, but does he have a good chance to take him down as well? From the backline comes True Play, and now with him being all, left to do all the work, it's going to be a little difficult. Some damage do being dealt, but not enough, and that's how he gets totally knocked and finished out. No backup being arise yet, and that's unfortunate. Meantime, Team Next RUYA gets eliminated at the 13th spot. Again, a big tragedy for them being eliminated. Frozen was looking promising, but with these solo duels, it's just very difficult. At this point, the team play is all that matters. NEXUS Esports, meanwhile, goes on and just closes things down. RUYA Esports' nade could do a lot of damage, but the nade are going to come through from both the side. And any connection being felt is going to be just so uncertain for any of the team. But on the top lanes, it's going to be MADBULLS, who's just enjoying this entire view which they have. They have that entire, clock tower by themselves. And if any team closes things down too near to them, they have so many util at the same time, inventory to, fight back. Smokes all around the petroleum position. And from the backlines comes in GAIMIN Gladiators. KU gets spotted down and also will be taken down from the side of MADBULLS. The fight between Team NEXUS and Team, RUYA Esports is still going on. Nades are just been drained down. Meantime, Team GAIMIN Gladiators lose yet another player. This time it's going to be KU. Back-to-back 2 knocks. Team RUYA Esports still struggling, but that's where the closeout is going to come in from the side of Octavia. Team RUYA Esports are they, anticipating this, that slowly, steadily all the players are going to be closing in. One player hasn't been knocked out, but there we go. There comes the slam now. Slowly, steadily, Octavian is closing the distance. There goes another knock. One player being added up towards the side of Stack, who will be taken care of. It all falls down to the one player thrown down in the corner position from the side of Team RUYA Esports. And so far, so good. He is going to be spotted off. Octavian could just jump in and get some damage, but he's playing the time here. He prones down, shows for the leg, and might as well get the way with the kill. Team RUYA Esports will totally get nailed down from the side of Team NEXUS Esports. And what a way for the side of Team NEXUS to win the fight at the earliest possible time. If they would have taken a lot of time, I think that would have been so much of a problem-making scenario. But now, yeah, there goes another zone, which could be a little centric. Let's see if it does has the bridge towards itself or no. I think a minute little bridge, only 2 teams in the zone. Team Oxyrix and Team ARR, which are just having their own fight, and rest of the teams are just fighting to come inside the military base island.
But yeah, if we talk about BESIKTAS esports have been trying, I mean, they're trying to get the PG117. That's a boat. If they are able to get it, they will be able to rotate. But obviously, that rotation is going to turn a lot of heads, and they might actually receive a lot of shots coming from MADBULLS as well. But before that happens, there is another spray on Excuse Me. But on the hindsight, there is another retaliation. FURIA finds one. Excuse Me definitely has got the domination factor. But yes, BESIKTAS is also getting punched up. Two good players are trying to rotate back in the play zone. Another two are outside the play zone, getting stuck and getting knocked out, to be honest. I would love to see how far Excuse Me is also going to establish a balance at this point. FURIA and both Beck are trying to just completely go ahead in the zone. The zone damage is absolutely mesmerizing as well. But remember, in just few seconds, the third play zone is also going to get compromised. At the same time, if we talk about the domination factor that is coming in from REGNUM's CARYA's perspective, yes, definitely that the domination is looking good. 5 amazing eliminations, that's kind of huge. And with that performance, I believe MADBULLS, if they are able to secure that chicken dinner, they can easily go ahead and snatch the second position in their favor, because yeah, the second position team 5 like Chiefs was already done and dusted. Zessie on the other corner gets snatched away from the vehicle, and with that, Excuse Me is also going to push forward. BESIKTAS esports is not at all looking comfortable. MADBULLS is picking players bit by bit because they have got the upper advantage at this point. They have got the height advantage, but they might actually receive some shots from the backends, and yes, that's exactly what is happening. Multiple shots were there, but still, Frozen is going to survive, because the thing is, the cover will be there for him. He was able to put down some smokes so that he can have the beautiful cover at this point, but pretty soon the push is going to be there, and you can clearly see that there is a complete sudden shift of the momentum that is there from Kitsune's perspective. He was trying his level best to get the advantage out of it, but unfortunately Kitsune has been taken down, and with that the advantage once again falls in the hands of MADBULLS. And total 6 amazing finishes, that's kind of a very good score, to be honest. And pretty soon FUT could actually approach this angle, but yeah, before that happens, MADBULLS is going to have their luck, have their time, have their brief enjoyment of the loot and stuff like that. But REGNUM CARYA, they are in the water body, they are like sitting ducks, and Gaming Gladiators do know about that.
Let's see how Team Regnum CARYA are going to manage to stay alive for as long as they are possible. Victor gets taken down to the play zone. Oh, FURIA is also going in with the route of these waters. It's all the swimming which is going to be done for most of these teams. And Trixie is going to get the best time of his life hunting down players. But let's see how easy does it gets for him. So slowly, steadily, as Lazy comes up to surface, he gets spotted. He's down to 1 HP. Might as well give his knock towards the, I think, a pool at this point. From the backlines, there's a cover fire though. And this comes in from the side of Excuse Me. I think Excuse Me could also deal so much damage to Regnum CARYA, and yes, they do. They find that one finish onto them. That's the 11th elimination. I mean, what? Are you serious, team? Excuse Me is doing the job here. 10 or 11 total finish for them, and that's already being a big, I'll say advantage. Meantime, the zone goes all the way towards the bottom western region. I think Regnum CARYA, they need to survive somehow, but at the same time, Team Excuse Me, who are having 11 total frags. Can they manage to come up inside the zone out of those amazing elimination which they have? Because they do need to realize that zone is going to play a very vital role, and with only 30 seconds remaining, Team Gaming Gladiators are really committed towards taking these fights, because they know as much time as they're going to stay here, they're going to get so much knockout. But so far, only one player from Gaming Gladiators is surviving. Meanwhile, Frozen is going to be the one who will get a knock from the side of Beck. So that's indeed is going to be yet another player from the side of Excuse Me who gets taken down. MADBULLS goes out for the zone for a little bit, maybe to retrieve some vehicle or get the final kill confirmation. Somewhere down the line, the numbers advantage still sticks around Team MADBULLS and FUT.
Yeah, at this point, MADBULLS is actually having the control of the bridge, and they are just taking players bit by bit. They've got 7 amazing eliminations, and they're pretty close to dethroning that particular team, which is actually on the second position, known as FLUX Esports. Things like that can actually happen, but look at the retaliation, man. Roxy gets taken down, which is absolutely impressive. No doubt that Excuse Me had 11 or 12 finishes in their favor, but still they have to make their way in the particular play zone, and that's not going to be comfortable. That's not going to be easy for sure. I would love to see how far that situation goes on, but MADBULLS, look at them, 9 amazing finishes. They are not at all swapping anytime soon. But if we talk about the manpower teams, FUT Esports is one of those which have got the manpower against like that. MELISE Esports is also there with the highest manpower in the favor. I mean, the full manpower is still surviving, which is good. I would love to see how Frozen is going to perform from this angle, but Gaming Gladiators also gets taken down. MELISE is also close. OZAROX Esports, his Sifir is actually trying to punch up on FUT Esports. If that happens, it will be absolutely amazing. It's a 3v4 type of scenario, and in the back end we do have MS as well. That means MELISE Esports is also surviving. And I don't think so MELISE Esports is going to do that kind of commitment at this point, because MELISE Esports have got a compound and they can easily rely with that. They can easily survive within it. And everything that I wanted from this particular matchup is coming in. First of all, we do have a Southern base island bridge coming in, and eventually the playsum is also favoring that. We do have a lot of bridge fighter coming in the initial second, or should I say second and third play zone. We did saw a lot of connection coming up between that particular bridge. And moving forward, I would love to see how far this establishment is going to go, because FPT Esports now they're trying to approach them. They're trying to put a lot of pressure. Storm could be the one which can easily get the backstabbing scenario, but he's also not revealing his own position because the 4th zone is going to get shrunken down pretty soon. And in order to have a safer spot, they have to be a bit more vigilant. They have to be a bit more skeptical, and also the passive aggression could be there from their particular perspective. But let's see, another 1v1 will be coming in, and that was a great 1v1 tussle. 1v2 or not? Let's see. Another spray, another fruitful spray, to be honest. OZAROX Esports is looking very comfortable from the back end, and the team is going to push forward. It's a 1v3 from this guy. Will it be a 1v4, guys? I really doubt that, but eventually a DBS pick is going to come in. They could have been a 1v4, but no, the player has been taken down. Not just one, 2 players have been picked off. With that, the last man standing is going to be Storm. That is the only player which has the hope. He could actually cook up a nade. He could actually go ahead and through that particular node. Oh, that nade was actually quite close, but still not close enough to completely shut down the player. Another nade goes in. Man, once again the damage could have been there, but FPT Esports doesn't have even a single idea at this point that where the player is. But after spraying down, definitely now the idea is actually conveyed. Okay, the DBS shot comes in, DBS picks, and it's a 1v2 finally. I thought that there is going to be a 1v4, but unfortunately, the complete change of pace of the game is actually there. MELISE Esports is going to be the biggest competitor at this point for MADBULLS. Other than that, every single team is just looking like they are surviving on bits.
Oh, that is so well spoken from you. MADBULLS with 4, Team MELISE with 4, and Team REGNUM CARYA surviving with just 1 play. And this is all they needed. Team REGNUM CARYA, what they need is just these 7-8 points in each and every remaining 3 maps. But now it comes out to the final play. A 4 versus 4 versus 1v1. Team 4 surviving with only 1 player. MADBULLS is going to close things down. They're already inside the circle. But what they need is going to be either the center of the next circle, or maybe some, damage or some, elimination of teams. Especially the ones out of these solo players. But now there's a clean fight coming out to MELISE Esports. And the first point of contact does comes in, but the nade is going to be traded. And Flake nades is going to do the job for the Sada CEO. Now it's a 3v3. The revival has to come through. Both the team are going to be just busy with the revival, but Team FUD, slowly, steadily, they're closing the distance. Slowly, steadily, they're walking up towards Team MELISE. And now, if there's anyone who could do so much damage to Team MELISE, it's going to be FUD. And see, that's where already the nade comes in. The man with the golden hand wing comes in and he gets another one. But is he not good enough to get the nog? No, that's not the case. It's Team MELISE down to 1 player. It's Team MAD Esports up with a 3 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 scenario. Unless a revival does comes in from Team MELISE, which highly seems to be very likely. Meanwhile, Team Esports is going to be eliminated at the 4th spot. The punishment does come, but now Oza is also getting eliminated. Now it comes down to Team MADBULLS. Finally get the winner will get dinner for themselves. But it's still a job not done. It's still a 1 versus 2 scenario, and still asking or expecting a revival. Let's see how likely case does that happen to be. REGNUM CARYA nonetheless have been surviving till the top 3 position, so this at least ensures them a 4 or 5 pointer.
Yeah, I mean, 5 point for the position is going to be there, and they've got 6 eliminations. That means a total of 11 points is not going anywhere at this point. Yeah, the stamps are going to come in. Yes, player has been spotted. Great fan is going to come in. I would love to see how far that anticipation is going to go, but the player has been tracked, so obviously he is about to get finished off pretty soon because it's a 1v4. I really doubt that he's going to come up with a big pick. Some tribbles are there, some utils are being destroyed. It was a 1v2. It's a 1v2. What? Indeed, 2 good players have been taken down from the back end. It is going to be Talika who might actually have the upper hand of this particular fight. But in order to do all those stuff, Lewis has to come up with a heal. But that nade could be the close one. Oh yeah, indeed, the connection is there. With that, MELISE Esports has been eliminated. MADBULLS is looking very close to the chicken dinner. And also my prediction, or to be precise, is actually looking quite close. But let's see how REGNUM CARYA is actually going to change the heads. Because definitely REGNUM CARYA right now at this point has the upper hand in this particular fight. Because nobody knows where he is. Wild can actually come up with a beautiful flank or maybe a backstab situation. But eventually he should have not waited for the time where the revival is done. Okay, Zerish now has got the idea where the player is. And now he's cooking up some smoke so that he can actually create that distraction or maybe create a path for his teammates to work with. At the same time, some more utils are being utilized, and you can clearly see while 77k is also coming up with some good nades. That nade gets the connection. While 77k was absolutely on point with that particular nade. But yeah, his position has been revealed. A complete push is going to come in from two good players, and that push might just change the heads. That's it. That's it. 26 points. A very good chicken dinner coming in from the particular team known as MADBULLS, and they are for sure nailing the particular perspective of being very close to REGNUM CARYA. Yeah, REGNUM CARYA also were able to chase out quite a few perspectives because I guess somewhere around 12 to 13 points is what they're going to have.
I mean, exactly. And slowly, steadily, I think situations are looking pretty diversifying. REGNUM CARYA did manage to get away with, like, double digits being added away. But with this, I mean, every other team winning the winner chicken dinner is at least coming at the end. With total of 26 points acquired in this one game, it's gonna be yet Team MADBULLS getting back towards the number 2 spot. Number 1 still remains strong for the start of REGNUM CARYA, but for how long is the question? Consistency from now on is gonna be pretty vital, but this game was indeed tremendous. MADBULLS winning it all. It's gonna be 3, 4, 4, 5 eliminations. 5 for the side of none other than Tulka. Then we have none other than Zerike, who gets 4 elimination. FLUX coming in with 4 and Frozen with 3. But the damage which was done from the side of Frozen is pretty something to talk about. 612 damage, 3 knockout from the side of Zerike, which is also just another, advantage that puts away Team MADBULLS very diversifying from any other team out there. But now with these numbers, with these performances, let's see how promising could the entire lead be for them. Somewhere down the line, I do believe that another team which was just on the backlines, Team FLUX, the difference wouldn't be that big, but MADBULLS comes up with like 8,955 distance, which they eventually covered. Then we had Team Excuse Me with 7,668.
REGNUM CARYA on the other corner was able to rotate for 9 kilometers, and on the hindsight, if we talk about MELISE, they were able to rotate for 8.5 kilometers, which is kind of a decent one. But we can clearly see that despite of every single team surviving, nobody was able to use a lot of utils. Only MADBULLS was one of those teams which was able to use 6 nades and 19 smokes along with 3 mollies as well. Matt Frozen once again becomes the match MVP, and this is actually going to push him a lot when it comes to the overall MVP as well. Phase 1, day number 3 is match number 3 is 13 to be precise, is already done and dusted. And moving forward, 3 eliminations, 612 is going to the damage with 9 throwables being used, and assists are 3. Yes, indeed, this guy from MADBULLS is looking quite confident. Is looking quite good. He is opportunistic, and definitely his opportunities are paying his way to the end game. But moving forward, we have got the MVP. Now let's talk about the match ranking. 26 points. That's huge. Excuse Me on the other corner is actually going to get 13 points. That's absolutely huge because despite of the fact that they went out way too early at 7th and 8th position respectively, but still they had 12 amazing eliminations, and that is why they were able to dethrone the team which was eliminated at the second position, that is known as REGNUM CARYA. But REGNUM CARYA also did a commendable effort of attaining 12 amazing points in their favor. MS on the other corner, that is MELISE Esports with 10, FUT with 8, NEXUS with 4, OZAROX with 4 as well, BESIKTAS with 3. Same goes, RUYA Esports has got 2 points, but if we talk about not next to RUYA and eventually ER and also Gaming Gladiators, both of all the 3 teams have got 1 points each. FLUX on the other corner secures 0, and I guess FLUX is also very consistent when it comes to the map of Erangel. Securing zeros is the main meta for FLUX Esports in the map of Erangel.
Well, slowly, steadily moving on towards, the entire standings. This is what I'd love to see. How after the 3 games, eventually the entire standing is going to go on. Top travel indeed stays up for Samian, who gets 12,081 total meters, covered. Elimination also for the longest distance comes out to be 417. Now that is some number out there. 417 in a map like Erangel is so, I'll say, unexpected. But talking about overall, it's going to be REGNUM CARYA still at 135 with 12 points of buffer. Now it's going to be MADBULLS and FLUX Esports. Did they, no points? They only got 1 point in the entire game, I believe. And that is just
0.
Unfortunate. Oh, they got 0 point.
Yeah.
That is way bad right now. ARR Esports with 87, MELISE Esports with 82. BESIKTAS Esports with 79, 76 for Gaming Gladiators, and 4 Esports making their way in now towards the top is slightly at the 69th position.
The thing is, like, teams like FLUX Esports is very good when it comes to the map of Miramar, but they are again coming up in a clash in the Georgia Pool Southwest City and not being that fruitful. Now, moving forward, if we talk about the jump, yes, excuse me, after that 13 pointer in this particular matchup, they were able to jump up 2 positions from hashtag 14 to hashtag 12, which is kind of good. But SBG, look at them. They're again getting these thrown from a lot of perspectives, and NEXUS Gaming is there with 41 points. Sly Europe, which is now missing a lot of matches, I believe, is there with 25 points. So, yeah, all in all, this is the overall ranking post match number 13. 2 more matches are left, if I'm not wrong. One is going to be the Miramar, and in order to sum up the whole phase 1 of this Ruthless Europe Invitational, we are going to witness the map of Ferengil, I believe, as the final map. And until then, guys, yes, the anticipation is quite high. You can easily support your favorite teams in the chat. Until then, we are going to take a short break and we'll be back pretty soon to talk about the match number 14 of this phase 1. Welcome back again to the Ruthless Europe Invitational. At this point, as I said, that we are going to move on to the 14th match of this, I believe, phase 1. So yes, pretty soon the phase 1 is going to end. And after 1 day break, we are going to initiate the phase number 2 as well. But in order to see that, we have to witness what happens in this phase number 1, because the prize pool of $1,000 is already at stake. Who is going to become the champion? Who is going to take the overall MVP's reward as well? There are quite a few questions that we are going to get an answer for pretty soon after the 2 matches that are left gets over. But yes, I guess the aggression that is coming in from the particular teams is really quite good. Let's go to the schedule so that we can have a quick recap of what happened today and what is going to come up next. So, in order to, I guess, start the day, it was BESIKTAS Esports with 20 points, and same goes for FLUX Esports in the first map of Miramar for the day. And eventually, in the second map for the Wrangle in this particular day, it was MADBULLS with 26 points, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, that was huge. The kind of anticipation, the kind of aggression that was coming in from MADBULLS was absolutely amazing. Now Miramar is going to come in, and also an Wrangle is left. Will that be possible for FLUX Esports to again be consistent in this one and secure a chicken dinner? If that happens, it will be quite eye-pleasing, but I doubt that is going to be that easy.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting one. FLUX, just another Miramar, another win for them. But this is the last Miramar for phase 1. Now, with these matches being done and dusted, it comes down to the final 2 games, and the conditions are going to be pretty much interesting. The fight for number 1 for the side of team, none other than REGNUM CARYA, means they need just 1 winner chicken dinner, and that's all. They win 1 winner chicken dinner, and I think that should be good for the number 1 position. The fight for number 1, there are 2 teams who could really contest in. It's going to be MADBULLS, who are 12 points away. With only a difference of 12 points, things could be in anyone's hand. But it's not just them. It's Team FLUX who are going in for their home matchup. And with that, I think the difference of 19 points could easily be covered. If they win a chicken dinner, yeah, I think they could all the way come towards the hashtag 2 position with 4 or 5. Or might as well come into number 1 if they win, a 12-pointer winner chicken dinner. Because with number 1 position having, almost 124. 25 points, I think slowly, steadily, things would really, move in the favor of Team FLUX. But top Miramar performances, it's FLUX who contributed 41 points in the Miramar map, 40 eliminations, which means total points of 81. 81 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 eliminations, which means to Damage is also somewhere down the line, like 8,805. Just look after that average survival time. It's 25 minutes, which is the highest I've ever seen, given the fact that most of the time they have just won the winner chicken.
FLUX Esports is quite good when it comes to the map of Miramar, although they are failing to actually get that performance right there in the map of Erangel. But yeah, let's move on to the predictions. Once again, I would love to ask you, Upon, what is your prediction for this match?
I think this game has to go to all the way towards MADBULLS. They are just 12 points away. They are feeling the confidence right now. And I do believe, after the performance which happened with them in the previous game, it's going to be MADBULLS who might walk away with the victory. But what's your call in that?
I will go for MELISE Esports. That is the pick for me in this particular matchup. Let's see how MELISE Esports is going to perform. Because yes, indeed, in the previous matchup, as you said, like MADBULLS had the momentum, same does the MELISE Esports. They were also quite close. Yes, they didn't have the full manpower eventually, and that is why MADBULLS was able to get the upper hand out of them. So yeah, I would have to see how MELISE is going to perform. We have players like Poser, we have players like Lewis. TU is there, KCU is going to be there. So definitely these are the big names coming from their own territory. I would love to see how that performance goes on. So yeah, that is my pick. And eventually, guys, 14 more teams are left, which you can pick and go ahead and support them in the chat. Other than that, everything is looking good. And if you want to take an update, if you want to get every single update that is there from Ruthless IP Esports' perspective, you can go ahead and follow the Instagram page that is esports.ruthless, and also the link will be given in the description. And all the other details about this tournament is already provided to all of you in the Instagram handle. But now moving forward, the time is not that much left. In just next 10 seconds, we'll get to see the flight path of the second last match of this phase number 1. So yes, the journey is about to come to an end, but I believe the end is also going to be very interesting.
Oh man, this is the last time we'll be seeing Miramar in the phase 1. We have the phase 2, which is going to be yet more interesting. But let's see how the entire game comes out, because now the plane path arises all the way from the central eastern part. It goes on towards the bottom western position. It's a flight path starting up from the top regions of Impala towards the side of Mount Noveo between the El Pozo. So that's like a very, like a vertical dissection of the map of Miramar. And already the first team to be falling down, I think, in the positions of Impala or Puriti Parisio, it's going to be Team Nexus. But I think they always were accompanied by yet another team. There's always a clash between FLUX Esports and Team SVG. There's always a fight between Team RUYA Esports and Team SLE Europe, but I think SLE Europe has, at this point, has really given up at the entire game. Because given the fact that each and every time they go on for a fight, it's the Team RUYA Esports, or like completely winning it all. At the same time, then we have the side of none other than Team MP, which is Major Pride, going on towards Los Leones. But there's no one really there to contest it. And towards the mid side of, a RUYA Esports region, I think there's no one again. Picardo has been mostly, just conquered very easily for them. And I believe if Picardo once again goes on for the side of Team REG, that is going to be yet an interesting one. FLUX Esports going on towards the side of San Martin. And let's see if SBG is nearly close to them or no. Oh yeah, they are going into. First zone comes in towards a little centric western side. Team FLUX Esports first one to step their foot in towards the map, towards the side of San Martin. But now Team SVG are just going to rush in towards the tallest tab. They want the rifles, but already the rifle looks to be into the hands of Team FLUX. Let's see if FLUX Esports would directly go in and rush in towards all of these players, just running around looking for some guns.
I mean, the Scorpion is in hand. On the other corner, if we talk about when he has got the pretty much known as gun known as M416. That was interesting. He did have an idea that there could be a player, although the guy from SBG had the squad killer gun that was M249, but he was unable to get the idea of where the player is and eventually got slashed out of the lobby. Now moving forward, Victor and some of the players are still surviving. Remember guys, from SBG's perspective, Victor is one of those players which is known to be aggressive, which is known to be the MVP for the team. And yes, Victor finds one as I was talking about him, and that is 7 who has been taken down. Let's see how far the situation is going to get stretched. Victor could actually go for another shot. There is another healing going on. He could actually jump in, but that could actually come up as a statement of an overcommitment. Let's see what happens, because Irwin 77k is also waiting. Has got the M249 as I said, and definitely that gun can actually create a lot of buzz at this point. But there is a revival coming in. Sebim is back in the scene, but this time there is no second chances. Victor and his teammates are able to just shut down one more player. That means the trade is actually there. And if it is versus Kairos, his position is going to get revealed soon because he is popping some bandits. Obviously, those audio cues are going to come in. But still, SVG is not going to overcome it, not going to actually expose himself as well. Because if that happens, obviously, the should I say, element of surprise that is there from SVG's perspective is going to get diminished. Victor has got the S197, which is again a very brutal gun when it comes to the close quarter advantage. But obviously, you have to have the precision right, you have to have the aim right. If the aim is not right enough, the gun is actually going to go ahead and get the reload done. And obviously, while reloading, while doing that pump action type of thing, obviously you can easily be shot down. So I guess every single thing that is coming from SPG's perspective have to be very calculative, because yes, they are dropping a lot. They are at 14th position out of the 16 teams. And on the hindsight, FUT Esports is already making their way to the top 4 teams.
The movement is still somewhat down the line, being just stopping. But the momentum seems as 3 versus 3 still looks a little stronger to the position of where Team HBG is surrounding. 2 Thompsons, 1 M4 and M416. On the other hand, if you talk about Team FUT, they have 2 SMG and an AK. So like not the best position yet for them. If they look to overcome it, it's yet going to be a difficult position. Lucky for each and every one of them that the opponent teams or the opponent players haven't yet got their hands on those ZBS. If they did, that would have been pretty deadly, and that would have been something where players would have been just at another level of confidence. Meanwhile, Kashi is just going to be going on and getting some crucial off-angle position. This is the matter of time right now. Like, time is really, the clock is ticking down. Time is totally being burned up. And with that, a very, very, big chunk of time which teams could have dedicated for their load is totally being, taken away from both of them. So let's see at St. Martin. I think the first zone always somewhat down the line favors you. Maybe yet another one too. But Kairos, meanwhile, reveals himself with his, I'll say, a good weapon as well. A nade comes in, and that's going to be SVG, who gets a nade connection. Meanwhile, DBS, as we were mentioning, it comes into the hands of none other than Robo's OP. And now this is going to be a little difficult for Team FUT. But somewhere down the line, Kashi does manage to find one. But FUT Esports is up with the retaliation. And what just happened right there? Team FUT were down to a big numbers disadvantage. There was DBS into the hands of Team SVG, but somewhere down the line, the 1v1 duels were won so well, and all of a sudden it's Team FUT who win the fight once again.
But esports, that was a commendable job coming from the corner. Despite of losing our win 77k in the initial fight, they were able to conquer the fight. But I can still see a pixel coming in the close quarter vicinity of the San Martin region. I don't know which team is that particularly, but definitely that would be actually a big fight coming in pretty soon, because now, as I said, this is the last map of the Miramar in this particular phase number 1. So every single team is actually going to be a bit more chaotic, although that kind of chaos is still not coming in. MELISE Esports, oh, that's interesting. And Kairos has been taken down. If elimination could actually come in, that would be amazing. But yes, with that, MELISE Esports is stepping in an enemy's territory, which I was not at all expecting. They are moving forward. CEO RTR also receives a lot of damage onto him, and that is why he's actually going to sit back and relax at this point. If he actually is going to overcome it, he might actually get taken down, because there is no backup or cavalry whatsoever at this point. He has to heal himself. He has to be back in the fight. Obviously, Kairos is also going to get the revival, because the push that we might actually expect is not going to be that easy from that particular end of that particular San Martin Ridge. Yeah, moving forward, MELISE Esports' poser is also trying to push forward, and maybe MELISE Esports is going to be a bit more chaotic at this point, because obviously, as I said, this is the last match of Miramar in this particular phase 1. So nothing more can actually be done. You have to be aggressive. If you want to be aggressive, you can be aggressive, and that's exactly what the players from MELISE Esports is trying to do.
Oh, well, let's see how eventually, they make it in the end circles at the same time, because that's been a big challenge to Team MELISE at the same time. Team FUT are just right in the crosshairs underneath the ridges, and Team MELISE, I don't know if they have yet spotted them or no, but the vehicles are coming in slowly, steadily, closely towards the side of St. Martin, and so far it's a Mirado onto the side of Kairos, so it's going to be backing things off. The first one was eventually, at Central East's shift. So let's see if, where the zone is going to close out. The first zone, I think it did go down a little bit towards, the northern regions of Shumashira. But now I believe it should be a little on the top region. And if it goes towards the top region, it's going to be, these open plateaus and mountain fights, which really happens to be pretty incredible. For esports, they burned a lot of time in the fight that they had against SBG. And, the result is just being seen here. Players up with Thompsons, players up with the shotguns of double barrels. So they need those rifles. They need to have those, like amazing loadouts to fight up with. And it's not just that. Also, it comes down to your armor, all of your med kits. Let's see how situation are eventually going to look like. Util still lacks a lot. Only 3 smokes into the hands of Savian. Meantime, CEO CTR definitely knows for a fact that Saint Martin, there's some movement happening there. And if he is lucky enough, there would be one player who would just run out there in the open and he would get the benefit of doubt to get the spray down. But meantime, Team RUYA Esports gets spotted off from the side of Wild. The northeastern shift is indeed there, but let's see where the next circle heads over to. Oh, it goes all the way towards bottom, so it's once again Mount Noveo and Shivachera. And this time I think it's going to be totally the western shifts, which could favor Team Excuse Me a lot and lot. At the same time, MADBULLS is also right there. REGNUM, CARYA, that was a risky fall. But when you have a pickup trunk, you don't worry about those damages. Nonetheless, the rotations are coming in. And the farthest from the nearest circle is indeed Team ARR and none other than Team BESIKTAS Esports.
Yep, the fights are coming in for sure. At this point, ARR Esports is that particular team which is outside the circle. At this point, they have to reach out and they have to conquer the fight at this point. In just 20 seconds, you'll get to see another shift coming in the stage number 2. That means the zone number 2 is actually going to start and get compromised. FLUX Esports on the other corner is also pretty close to OZAROX Esports. Let's see how far that anticipation is going to go. Because the thing is, FLUX Esports, if they get shut down, many more teams are going to have the opportunity of getting a chicken. And FLUX Esports is somehow able to just rotate back in the circle and somehow able to survive a lot. Oh, what was that? A beautiful spray. Mid-air, he catches him. And OZAROX's storm is not going to be that stormy anymore. Oh, that was Kiral, if I'm not wrong. That shot was absolutely impressive. He was able to catch the player mid-air while in the vehicle, and a headshot came in along with a body shot, and eventually that was it. A beautiful knockout indeed coming into the play. Now more and more sprays are coming into the play. Kaisers is trying his level best to get the damage done and dusted. From the left hand side, we have REGNUM CARYA already attacking them, and from the front end angle, we have, I guess, OZAROX's Storm, which is already trying to upload some good shots. But Team Braz is actually going to be back in the fight because Kirali is actually going to get the revival, and that revival is obviously very, very important for the team. And every single guy from the lobby is still there, and I believe it's a full manpower type of situation coming in. The only team which is missing some players right now is going to be FUT Esports. Matt Frozen on the other corner finds one on Gaming Gladiators, and things like that can actually be quite chaotic. And BESIKTAS Esports, they're crushing the player at this point, but Zerish also gets taken down. That means Gaming Gladiators are also trying to bounce back in the scenario. Trade fight could actually come in, and remember guys, MADBULLS is way too close to REGNUM CARYA. They should not mess this around, and I really hope that the connections will be right enough.
Well, surely, but let's take a look after what comes in for the start of Team BESIKTAS. Is a difficult one, but somewhere down the line, they do manage to keep things away from anyway being closest to getting knocked off. Somewhere down the line, slowly, steadily, the positions do look a little vulnerable for the players right now, as now the zone closes in. 14 teams with only 52 players surviving. Spray comes through from the side of Frozen, but no damage being done yet towards the side of Matic. Team Gaming Gladiators, they already have a lot of kids in there, and that was their one-star player, which you would definitely want to count on. But I think now it all comes down to, the last match with all of the foreign players will be getting prepping themselves for. This is not just the end, but it's almost one step closer, and the next zone moves all the way towards the RUYA and the bottom position of Shivachera. So that's yet again a big collapse. So most of the teams being up towards the northern side, especially if you are the side of team, excuse me, because you were the one having the complete advantage, and now out of all the teams, like, team FLUX, Team Oxidus, then you had Team Major Pride, who are already in towards the northern side of Shivachera. There's such a less, angles of position to work with. Meantime, Team Major Pride is somewhere down the line getting shots on. REGNUM CARYA, I think it's going to be none other than Nomi, who is going to be spraying down the players of Team RUYA Esports. But what Pruder gets denied with that vehicle slam, and that's going to put him down to a knockout. Somewhere down the line, there are still 3 players starting from the start of Team Major Pride, so that still gives them an advantage. From the backlines, Team FLUX is also putting so much pressure, and this is really looking a tough spot for Major Pride to survive.
Yeah, I mean, they are actually feeling the pressure at this point. Definitely a lot of teams are going to step up the notch at this moment, and Brazil Esports, if I talk about them, Coursera is going to be the player, to be precise, who is actually punching in the way. Poser on the other corner also gets taken down. That seems like that. MELISE Esports is also in a fight, but Major Pride, after getting one good elimination, and also the loss of Brood, is actually going to be there. But FLUX Esports now also gets the attention from some of the teams. The Carnatic shot came in, With that, the revival might not actually happen. But ARR, Tapox finds one. That is good because yes, the picks are coming in. BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner is actually going to finally eliminate the team known as Brave Esports. With that, we are left with only 13 teams and 45 players, and every other team is struggling at this point. Like FED Esports stuck with just 2 players, Major Sprite stuck with just 3 players at this point. ARR Esports is also struggling to survive, and FED Esports is going to be the only team which might actually stop that. BESIKTAS on the other corner is also getting surprised from MELISE Esports' corner. Enjoy has been taken down. He's not going to enjoy that kind of aggression. Oh, one more pick, one more takedown is actually there. Excuse me, is also getting picked off. 550 Esports does have the domination factor in their favor. But let's see how far that competition is going to go. The kill feed is just running at this point because we are in the 3rd place zone. And before that, ARR Esports is trying to be chaotic. One more nade goes in. Will it be? Oh, that was nade. That nade was actually quite optimum. And eventually the placement was actually quite right. Yeah, loving the way this performance is going on from FET Esports' perspective as well. But on the same side, if I talk about Tapok, he's the guy who actually loves to change a lot of stuff at this point. He's going to finish off one more player, but obviously he has to rotate back in the circle because obviously the third play zone is not going to be that forgiving as he's expecting. So yes, get the vehicle, get the rotations done. REGNUM CARYA on the other corner is also trying to be a bit more aggressive, and now they're trying to figure out an aggression on MELISE Esports, if I'm not wrong. And yes, MELISE Esports is about to get shaken down. Pretty soon that elimination can actually come in, but excuse me before that gets excused of the lobby and not. Should I say, next RUYA is already securing 4 amazing eliminations, which is good. But look at the circle. Every single team is actually pretty much secluded on the north eastern shift of the particular play zone. I was not at all expecting that. Trumasana is the region where the zone might actually reside. Before that, there is again a northern shift coming in the particular circle. BESIKTAS Esports is surviving. Zezi finds one more good pick. NEXUS wanted to outperform. Okay, one more 1v1. Man, that barrel shot was absolutely amazing. FED Esports is still going to survive. Oh, not survive. They have got 6 eliminations. That's good. They have been eliminated at 12th position. But BESIKTAS is the one which is still surviving despite of that sudden jump coming in from NEXUS.
Oh man, things are looking wonderful so far. But now, let's see how these end circle fights are going to pan out. Somewhere down the line, Team BESIKTAS Esports is still somewhere down the line surviving. NEXUS, it's going to be a tough time for them to come inside the circle. Meanwhile, I think Team MELISE is also down to a little player's disadvantage. Let's see how they are going to reform with it. SunHP now closing things down towards Kapala. Kapala has a nade in his hand, and this could be a difficult one. But SunHP, if he switches on to an FPP, things could look really powerful. Oh, he's down to 1 pixel HP, and that's where the M762 barrel weapon comes inside the play. He knocks down SunHP. Let's see if there could be any point of retrieval onto him. But somewhere down the line, Kapala is going to just come in and will get that knock. So, oh, it's a knock coming in all the way from the backlands of JZ. Now the domination for the side of BESIKTAS is just so powerful. 10 team remaining with 29 players, and at the same time, Team NEXUS Gaming will be the one to fall at 11th spot. I think 2 more spots remaining if you don't want to get any type of positioning point, but this is where most of the team would just want to get the safest position in the end circle. Taking a look out at the live standings, all the top 3 teams are having that 4-man advantage, and yet they are the only one alongside Team RUTHLESS Esports who are just cornered in these backlines, but they are totally being kept, taken care of from the side of FLUX. Now, if the zone moves away from this position, it's going to be a difficult one. But if the zone favors this position, I think this is the best spot for the side of Team RUTHLESS to make sure that they ensure themselves the top 6 position. Team Major Pride is having 3 players. Team Next RUYA with 3. GAIMIN Gladiators with only 1 alongside Team MELISE, but let's see how things eventually pan out because ARR are down to 2-1, slowly, steadily walking up towards the mid. It's not going to be an easy task because they have the center of attention. Being at the center of the entire circle isn't the best thing, and just as you can see, just right next to them, it's going to be OZAROX, and on the top line, Team FLUX is already taking a good scout look.
I mean, somehow FLUX Esports is still finding their way with the full manpower in the circle at this point, and that's the best part. But seems like that pretty soon FLUX Esports is going to get entangled with either OZAROX or also maybe MADBULLS is going to come in the closed circuit. Definitely that fight can be mesmerizing, but on the hindsight, when it comes to MELISE Esports, the last player that is surviving is on the back end. If we talk about REGNUM, I believe they are looking good, but they have 137 points, which is, I guess, kind of a decent score that has been set at this point. And on the hindsight, if we talk about MADBULLS, are also trying to chase that particular score. Obviously, they just have one more chance after this match gets over. But at the same time, AR Tapok has been taken down. So quite a few good picks are coming in. REGNUM CARYA does not want to lose this particular matchup. That is why definitely they are starting off quite well. They're getting some good picks in their favor for sure. Now moving forward, I'm waiting for the fifth play zone to come in. It can actually go for the Chumasara region. Maybe the southern eastern shift could actually come in, but I believe a northern shift is going to happen. I would love to see where the circle is going to go. It is a northern shift. That's what I love. But okay, that's a central shift coming in. So every single team just have to be a bit more close to each other. Other than that, every single team has got their own area to actually conquer. Like ARR is actually going to move from the northern eastern angle. Same goes for REGNUM CARYA. One good player from REGNUM CARYA has been taken down outside the play area, or maybe should I say so the circle. So obviously that revival is not going to be that easy. If the revival comes in, it will be absolutely mesmerizing. But before the revival is there is again a sudden shift coming in. It could be OZAROX Esports, which is going to, I guess, put some pressure onto the players of REGNUM CARYA.
Well, with that, 10 teams, 28 players, and BESIKTAS Esports still moving back. It's P7 with Nate in his hand. And just right next to them, it's going to be REGNUM CARYA, who's slowly, steadily, making their way in, closing down the distance. Now, I think with all the 4 players alive, Team REGNUM CARYA, they don't need to fall off at this very moment. Because if they do, it's going to just open things up for the side of Team MADBULLS. At the same time, the nade is going to land in right next to P7. So that means the knock eventually does come in. And the hope for revival is going to be pretty inevitable. So that's going to be a kill, which indeed would be confirmed. But they're not just, worrying about that one single pointer kill. And, missing on to the fact that they could really get an easy entry towards the end circles. The circle and the position at this point is going to play a very key role. All the mountains, all the plateaus are going to be the one which will be the center of attraction. On the top, it's still Team FLUX who have the total domination spot if the zone closes in their favor. The Team BESIKTAS Esports, finally, the revival onto this piece comes in, and being 84 meters away, they only have like 90 seconds to make their way into the safe circle. Peace was just running around with no healings with himself, and that's when headshot right comes to his face from the side of Major Pride. Major Pride is still surviving with 3 players. Meantime, Team BESIKTAS Esports has also not yet been revealed, but that's where Mini 40 in action comes in. And what? I don't think that was a knock coming on for the side of Tron, but nonetheless, Team ARR will get eliminated at the 10th spot. Wild does get taken down, but instantly the smokes and revival has to come in. Meantime, Team Major Pride also have those 3 players who have to walk into a major part of the circle. Within 1 minute, the next circle is going to come in, and that's going to be the 6th circle for the day.
Yep, the 6th circle will be getting formed pretty soon, and eventually when that happens, a lot of teams have trouble surviving in the particular play area. But yes, some more troubles being utilized. Major Pride is trying to be a bit more effective. The name is Effect from Major Pride perspective. He's trying to go ahead and get the deal done. Obviously, there is going to be a lot of backlash coming in pretty soon, because yes, there is teams like NEXUS and also Major Pride is there, OZAROX is there, FLUX is there, MADBULLS is going to be there, and even REGNUM CARYA is surviving with the full manpower. So definitely these teams will have the kind of a decent manpower, or even the full manpower can easily step up a notch and get a lot of frags out of this particular situation. But FLUX Esports, look at them, they are again trying to be quite consistent. They don't have any finishes for now, but they might just start picking up those finishes in the later stages when the 6th zone comes in. And yes, the 6th zone is going to come in very soon. Like in just few seconds, you are going to see a sudden shift of this particular play zone. I would love to see how far this anticipation is going to go, which team is going to get preferred with the play zone. FLUX could still be in the center, and yeah, that's exactly what is happening. So okay, still actually in the sort of center of this particular POI. OZAROX has to rotate, REGNUM CARYA has to rotate, Major Pride has to rotate, MELISE Esports, URTR has to find out safer haven. BESIKTAS on the other corner is also going to try and come up with some decent shots of their own.
Well, let's see how the end circles eventually comes in, because I believe so far it's just most of the teams are just being in these corners of these position. FLUX are going to make a tough time to Major Pride to enter the circle. At the same time, team REGNUM CARYA is also here, but perfect nade onto Loxy is going to put Team REGNUM CARYA in such tough spots to back off to get each and every revival. But see, the nade instantly comes in from the side of Zilicon, and Zilicon wants to just rush in. He wants to confirm the kill, but the fire, the cover fire, just so beautiful. Swan, meantime, is going to be the one who will take down FLUX. And with that, the closing does comes in from the side of Wild as he finds another one. Now it's just one player down, but I think that's going to be over. Team Regnum cry with the domination, and it's going to be Major Pride who will be eliminated at the 9th spot. And very unfortunate elimination for them with only 4 points. But this leaves us with 8 team. Let's see where we are heading, because next RUYA is looking dominant, and that brings out yet another elimination at 8th spot. It's going to be BESIKTAS Esports, but 5 elimination, domination coming in from the start of next RUYA. Meantime, FLUX yet again, it's going to be, okay, who gets taken down to that Mini. I think Mini works so good between these players. It's just amazing to watch. But at the same time, RUTHLESS Esports, 2 players are going to be flown away. It's going to come down towards one who is one final player surviving. At the same time, MELISE Esports once again trying to make sure they could survive as long as possible, but that's going to be just the 7th spot for them. Domination for MADBULLS arises, and we find ourselves up in the top 6 position of the teams.
Yep, and pretty much very soon I believe we are going to witness a 7th place zone as well. Before that happens, one has been taken down. With that, the elimination of OZAROX Esports is already done. At the 6th position, I believe just 2 position points and 2 for the elimination. A 4-pointer game coming in from a team which was, I guess, looking forward to have a 20-pointer game. It's sad to see, but then again, this is the harsh reality that we have to talk about. Yes, now moving forward, we have teams like REGNUM, CARYA surviving. Next RUYA is also surviving. MADBULLS is there. With that, gaming gladiators is also going to survive, but gaming gladiators does not have any kind of manpower at this point. The only player which is surviving is going to be very sneaky. Look at the winner check in the forecast, and it's just 7 point some percentages, to be honest. On the hindsight, with the team which has got the area figured out is going to be FLUX Esports. Once again, they're trying to approach. They're on the edges for sure, but Regnum Curious Zilcon has been taken on. With that, Wild 77 retaliates and was able to take one down from Team NR, and with that, I believe very soon the elimination could actually follow up. Next 2 years, 2 good players are still surviving. I would love to see how far they're going to establish the attacking formation. Obviously, for Ejecta go up, it's not going to be that easy for the back end. There are going to be more and more plays coming in, and it's a tough fight to be precise. But let's see how far the establishment goes on. Okay, 2 good players from Regnum Cura has been taken down. Despite of the fact Regnum Cura is now getting suppressed, I'm more than happy because that team has already done the consistent part of this particular game. That is that they have already secured 10 plus points in their favor, which is again a good thing. But MADBULLS, their true competitor, is still on the back end. They have to maintain a very big lead. They have to maintain a very big buffer of more than 20 plus points if they really want to actually secure the first position in the whole phase number 1.
Oh, let's see the final fight at the map of Miramar. Here at the Ruthless Europe Invitational is going to go on at the phase 1, and the knock comes against Team MADBULLS. MADBULLS are still fighting for their survival, but the shotguns comes into rescue, but not for too long. It's going to be FLUX instantly retaliating and winning it all up, denying MADBULLS, and might as well take away that hashtag 2 position if they continue to go all the way up towards the top 2 position. But Team MADBULLS getting denied at the 4th spot will still leave them some good points. But let's see how Team REGNUM, CARYA and Team FLUX alongside next RUYA is going to fight up. If Team FLUX manage to get yet another winner with a chicken dinner, I'm going to be so amazed. I'll call them the kings of the map of Miramar. I think they have never ever disappointed us ever in this map, and it's just so beautiful to see that how a team could be so consistent only in one map. That's still a thing. It's a 4 versus 2 versus 2. It's still something which could be doable for either of the one teams from REGNUM, CARYA and Team Next RUYA. But Next RUYA do realize one thing. They have the zone advantage. Team FLUX has to, go inside the zone. And with these vehicles, it's not going to be an easy task. So Ejecta go up is going to be down to only 15 HP. He has to get himself backed up. He has to heal himself up. At the same time, if you talk about the side of REGNUM, CARYA, they're already playing for the hashtag 2 position. Whenever they fall in the spot, they only make sure that they play a big split, make sure that the teams are surviving far up against each other. Then in the very last second, they initiate inside the fight or the third party.
Yeah, I mean, the speculations are way too high. You clearly said that. Clearly see that there could be a backstab situation coming in from REGNUM, CARYA, if I'm not wrong. Ejecta go up has been taken down. With that, the pressure is actually in the falling hands of Frozen, if I'm not wrong. So Frozen is going to be the last hope for the team. I would love to see how far that situation goes on. Tron on the other one also gets taken down. The X factor that was there pretty close to the particular team has already been thrown out of the equation. But 2 good players from FLUX Esports have already been taken down. Now, this is the opportunity that I was talking about. This is the only opportunity where REGNUM, CARYA could actually bounce back, and also the other team can actually get the points in their favor. But now next RUYA has come up with a 1v2. It is doable. Players like Frozen can actually do that. On the hindsight, we have players like Kesh and also Soulless, I believe. So I would have to see how far the situation gets rushed up. Frozen has got a DBS along with, I believe, an M416, which is kind of good. He has got the level 3 helmet as well, so he can actually spray down the players. But yes, still, the zone is not going to push both of these teams towards each other, so they can just they can just relay the information to each other and also just play with the formation that they've got at this point. So yes, for FLUX Esports should not move in a split at this point because yes, that's exactly what costed them two good players out of the equation.
Definitely. One versus two scenario. And now Team FLUX, let's see how they are eventually going to come up and, get away with the winner chicken dinner. Is it going to be that easy as it sounds? It's not. I think it's the best player of Team Knight. Like I'll say Team Next RUYA, which it all falls down to him. He's already shown us a clutch of 1 versus 2 on the back of a DBS. Here he's with a damage level 3 vest, which is not the brightest spot for him. Util still looks not that, I'll say, delightful for Team FLUX. They have 0 grenades. Even if they have some grenade, they would have had some luck with those grenades though. But a 1 versus 2 still looks like a 63-33% chance. In terms of the prediction itself, zone is going to indeed decide if it goes towards the favor of FLUX or no. It's going to close down within 8 seconds. Let's see if it goes down. If it goes down towards FLUX, the TPP advantage would look just as powerful as ever. But slowly, steadily, the zone is going to be turned down. And now the zone is going to come in. Oh, it's the 9th zone, I feel. If it's the 9th zone, there's no close-in. It's going to be the final 2 seconds where the entire map of Miramar is going to close out in the center. It's the healing battle zone, which you like to name it. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. It's almost like 150 minutes. So slowly, steadily, it is going to go in. Frozen going on for the big flank. He has a vehicle right next to him. The Team FLUX, slowly, steadily, they have the entire map control. They're realizing the fact that there are many angles which they have already cleared, and there are just some positionings which they are really worried about at this point.
Now they're trying to actually put a pressure on those positioning where they really think that the play could actually come from. And yes, Frozen is actually coming from that same exact angle. It's a 1v2 situation coming in. He is about to give the footsteps. The DBS has been summoned. Let's see how this giant is going to slay the beast known as FLUX Esports, because that is the particular team which is again dominating from the past few matchups of the Miramar. Just only the match number 7 was out of the hands, but other than that, everything was quite peaceful and calm. Some more mollies, some more utils are being used, and now FLUX Esports have got an idea where the enemy is, and with that, yes, again a beautiful chicken that came in. 19 points to be precise is going to be there for them, and at this point, I guess MADBULLS is going to be a little bit more scared, but I really believe MADBULLS have done the effort, and also REGNUM has done the job. That is why they are still going to become the #1 and #2 team respectively. On #3, definitely the positioning is now going to be a bit more firm coming from FLUX Esports, but yes, a commendable job with this chicken event.
I mean, wow, Team FLUX is just incredibly good. And the number of finishes that they do manage to get in the end circles, that just puts up so much, like good numbers. 19 points for them, but still they remain at the 3rd position in the overall ranking. They might have went close, but not the closest, because it was 135 when we last saw in the previous game for the side of team none other than REGNUM CARYA, and after that I believe it's just them moving slowly, steadily ahead and ahead and ahead. It all comes down to the final game of a wrangle, and let's see which team is going to walk out with a victory. Nonetheless, after this game, it's going to be Ketch, who had an impactful performance with his damage, 890 damage, which is the most of his team. Most of the damage was taken from the side of Ketch, and also the elimination. Most knockouts was being done from the side of Soulless. Meanwhile, if we talk about elimination, 3 eliminations for the side of Soulless, 2 for Lutz, and 1 for Soulkey. 2nd Miramar of the day, and it's once again Team FLUX winning it all. But the teams who watched were definitely Team REGNUM CARYA, 6,621 meter of distance being travelled. Meantime, it was Team FLUX as well with 6,815 meters. MADBULLS got eliminated a little early, or else would have been a real contending team for the number 1. Next, RUYA still keeping the hopes alive, and these are the distance which they did travel. But when it comes to the MVP plays, when it comes to those individual players doing a lot of damage or the heavy lifting for the team, I'd love to see which player is it going to be coming in the entire map. Because I believe it is from the side of FLUX. I did expected maybe a player from the side of Team REGNUM CARYA, but with 3 elimination, it's going to be Kitch, who came up on top with 819 damage, 6 verbal use, and only 3 assists.
Yeah, I mean, whenever we talk about the MVP, we do consider like 40% of the survival rate, 40% of the damage, and also 20% of the elevation. Though that is why the combined effort coming from Kesh's perspective was absolutely amazing. He is the MVP for sure, but let's see how far this is going to help this team. Match summary on the other corner is actually here with the highest elimination in the favor of MADBULLS is Frozen, and also the highest knockouts is in his favor. Highest damage is coming in for REGNUM Cura's Zelicon, and same goes for the highest assist. Here, Sapok is actually going to be the guy with the highest healing done, although this is not a good sign that he was getting tagged out multiple times, but still he was able to revive, or should I say, heal himself 5 times at the fullest HPs. 534 is going to be the right amount of healing points that he was able to recover. Moving forward, this was the match summary. Let's talk about the match ranking as well. Pretty soon we'll get to see that as well. In the match ranking, we'll get to have an idea of what kind of jump is there and what individual performances team have actually showcases. But yeah, 19 points from FLUX Esports. Random Cura with 15. That is again a very good thing that they are trying to be consistent. And NEXUS on the corner has got 14 points. MADBULLS have got 8. FUT Esports with 6. BESIKTAS Esports with 6. MP that is Major Sprite along with the team OZAROX and Gaming Gladiators have got 4 points each. And I guess MELISE Esports have got 3 points. ARR with 2 points. SBG, Braz, and excuse me, along with NEXUS have got just 1 point each. It's a good thing that every single team has got even, I guess, just a single point, or maybe at least a single point. That's what I would have to add on. But yeah, match ranking is over. Now let's have a look into the overall performances, overall statistics, and stuff like that, so that we can have an idea of what is the right amount of domination that we were expecting. BESIKTAS Desi was able to get the longest elevation, that is of 372 meters. Total 11 headshots were dished out, 64 total knockouts were there, and 9,162 total healings were also delivered. 4 airdrops to be precise were looted, 57 total eliminations were there, 197 throwables, and 22 rescues to be precise.
Oh man, the longest elimination distance was Jesse 372, which is some number to be talked about. But with that, let's take a look after the overall standing. 150 is completed by REGNUM CARYA, and there's so less hope for them to not win it all entirely. Some up and downs. BESIKTAS Esports is going to come up on top. MELISE is going to go down. Team RUYA makes it in towards the top 8 position. MADBULLS at 131. The distance from FLUX and MADBULLS is going to be closed down. But the top 3 might remain the constant. It's just the matter of who will come at the second and third position. I think at this point, REGNUM CARYA is just looking powerful unless they be the first team to get eliminated. And let's see. It's the map of Erangel. It's where Team Major Pride really goes on to, take them down. So it's a little concerning. But hey, they have had the highest elimination. 97 in elimination, which is indeed the highest for esports. Meantime, it's 75. Dry Esports with 66. Then we had Major Pride with 64. Oxus Esports comes up on top. But somewhere down the line in the bottom lines, it's now Team SBG, which is just heartbreaking. In the first day, they had like 49, 50 or 54 points. And since then, it's just, SBG getting disappeared from the entire, league here. And due to which, out of that number 1 team, which they were out of, the 4th or 3rd game, now they're all the way down towards the bottom 3 team, which is just so fortunate for us to believe in.
I mean, yeah, the pressure is coming in for sure. I would love to add on that at this point, the performance was absolutely optimum. And looking at the later stages, we can clearly see that Sky Europe is missing a lot of matches. But yeah, I mean, it is good to see that performance is coming in, but still in the later stages, OZAROX Esports is trying their level best to come up with some good points. OZAROX and FLUX Esports is going hand in hand when we talk about the map of Miramar. Every now and then, that kind of anticipation is coming in. But after a quick short break, we'll go to the last and the final map of this phase 1. Well, let's go. It's the final match, which is going to happen pretty soon. And indeed, the journey was quite auspicious. We did saw a lot of ups and downs coming in from a lot of teams. Eventually, a lot of jumps was also there. And now, moving forward to the schedule, let's have a quick recap of what happened initially from the start of this particular date. That is day number 3 of the particular phase number 1. Moving forward, we had a BESIKTAS esports with 20 pointers, Bomber, and the FLUX esports also came back with 20 points in the next map. And eventually, if we talk about the third map, we had another anticipation of MADBULLS coming up with 26 points, I believe. And after that, FLUX esports had another set of 19 points. So, yes, one thing that is clear is that MADBULLS had a clear domination in the match number 3, and eventually Miramar is one of those favorite maps where FLUX is just booming out at this point. The predictions are going to come in one last map, so I would go for, let's go, I guess, MADBULLS. Yeah, I will go for MADBULLS. Let's go.
Well, I'd love to go for the side of none other than, I believe the team at the third spot, which is going to be FLUX. I think I did anticipated them to win it all, but this is not going to be an easy task. But they have to go big or they have to go for the second and settle for less. But nonetheless, I believe it's going to be an important one. Team REGNUM CARYA also have to survive. Team REGNUM CARYA also have to make sure that no matter what happens, they do not have to just fail in early. There's only a slightest percentage of the chance that the number 1 position is going to be dethroned from REGNUM CARYA. That's if they get eliminated early and if there's a winner with a chicken dinner for the start of Team MADBULLS. I think that's the only condition left. It's a difference of 19 points. So each and every point which Team MADBULLS will be connecting has to make it count. At the same time, they also have to make sure that somewhere down the line, it's none other than, the number 1 team REGNUM CARYA as well, who has to get eliminated before make it into the top 10 position. But now, as we're going to be heading over to the final map of the first phase, this is going to be the final game here at the Ruthless Europe Invitationals Phase 1, and so far it's been a big journey. Let's see when we are going to head over towards, I believe, it's going to be eventually the 9th time of a wrangle. Till now, there have been many number of teams who have been winning it. We have seen none other than, Foot stepping up. We have seen none other than, our very own Team Major Pride. We had Team SBG winning it in the very first time. MADBULLS have won it. Team ARR has done it. But now it's time for MADBULLS to once again strike in, and maybe even the start of Team FLUX, because they have won 5 winner chicken dinners now, Rito. But not even a single one out of that is in a wrangle.
I mean, it is feeling like the complete control of one full day is actually there in the hands of Team FLUX esports. But all in all, I would love to see a REGNUM chicken dinner. Well, my pick is MADBULLS, but then again, if a REGNUM chicken dinner could actually come in, that would be mesmerizing, because remember guys, 14 matches have been passed. That team is still on top, but not at all with the chicken dinner. There is not even a single chicken dinner coming from REGNUM's perspective. And this is very good. This is a very good example of balancing the equation and being very opportunistic. Like, if you're unable to get the chicken dinner, that's okay. Just secure some decent points in the favor. Secure 15 to 16 points. Secure 10 points at least in each and every match, I believe. And that's exactly what REGNUM CARYA is trying to go ahead and do. OZAROX on the other corner is now actually going to approach for the southern military base island, and eventually they are going to loot with it. I still really want to see once again no Ripner type of bridge type of fight coming in. But yeah, this time I feel like the zone is going to be a central one. But the flight path is looking very good. A vertical diagonal flight path is coming in, which is starting from the back end areas of, should I say, southwestern areas of the military base, and then it is stretching the periphery, then forward. Moving forward, it is actually pretty close to the Pubg region, touching the Kurkas itself, and then finally the Georgie pool is also going to get contested. But FLUX esports is once again going to jump in, I believe, at the location which is filled with the clashes. I don't know what is happening in their minds. They're not at all looking for their prize pools and stuff like that. They are here to come up with a tussle, and yes, the gun is actually going to get credited. And they have got the AK, and also the SLK is going to come in. Fury also already gets taken down. That means now, yes, the domination factor is going to come in for the team known as FLUX esports, because they are getting the guns, they are getting the picks, they are getting the guns reloaded, and the push, man. Look at that. Soulless now wants to push forward. Obviously, it can actually backfire a lot, but still, he's not worried about that. Yes, Soulless has been taken down. I mean, I was talking about this factor that it can backfire. If you are pushing forward, you have to be vigilant enough that the enemy is not going to stop you and pick you out. But still, okay. Despite of having 10% SP, he's going to now slice this guy open. And at the same time, there is another clash. SBG is now fighting with BESIKTAS, I believe. And SBG is getting uncomfortable for now.
Oh, surely they are. I mean, they have been looking the same since the day 2. And BESIKTAS, once again, let's see how they are going to manage to just take down the fight to their favor. 3 defeats so far for the side of team FLUX, and that recovery of 4 points could really be something they could make it count. But where's Team Regnum is a big question, right? They love to go towards school and coaching regions, and with that, now they also get accompanied by yet another team, which is Team Measure's Pride. SVG nonetheless. Wallow is going to be taken down from the side of Peace. Block is going to be one solo player surviving with an S12K. This is going to be a difficult one, and especially when there is going to be a single FPP in the hands of Catch. The heals are coming in, the players are waiting for the nades, so that blinds, that totally denies him with the deafness, but nonetheless, it's going to be nade which will do the job, and an easy 4K for the start of Team FLUX. They managed to win it with 0 casualty, which is just so huge. But the zone is also came in, it's like just 430 meters away. So they have to worry about the zone. So far, one team got eliminated, which is Excuse Me, and the journey for them in phase 1 is just ended right now, right here. Let's see which position would it be. SBG and Team Nexus is still surviving. Meantime, all the team at the top 12 positions still remain quite, optimal with their performances, with their position. REGNUM, CARYA, meantime, no school or Poshingi compounds. They're going all the way up towards the Water Rozok and Ruins position, which is somewhere down the line a pretty smart one. But do they realize that MADBULLS love to go towards Water Rozok, and if they actually go there, Tulka will be waiting for them. Meantime, REGNUM CARYA lose out that one player, and now they don't have anywhere to look back. They just have to keep moving forward and be lucky enough to not fall in the crosses of MADBULLS.
It's tough, man. It's tough to see how REGNUM CARYA is actually going to perform at this point. Definitely have the consistent approach. They've got 150 points. That means in every single match, on an average, they've got at least 10 points, which is absolutely a good thing. And on the hand side, if we talk about MADBULLS, they are still at the second position, but FLUX Esports, the way they are performing, they have already got 128 points. That means they are just shy of 3 points of nailing down the particular team known as MADBULLS. But in this particular matchup, I would love to see how my pick MADBULLS is going to perform. On the hindsight, if we talk about REGNUM CARYA, that knockout is obviously going to get resulted in a fatal elimination. And from the running vehicle, it was a Kar 98K shot down. It was interesting. I mean, this kind of flicks that are coming in from Major Sprite are obviously impressing us a lot. But at the same point, Major Sprite has to come up with a long and very hefty opportunistic battle. Even if there is no question that Major Sprite is not going to be in the top 3. But still, if Major Pride comes up with a big chicken dinner, they can make their way in our hearts. And maybe in phase number 2, we might see something else from that particular team's perspective. But all in all, MADBULLS is there in the Water City region. They are actually trying to conquer it. Okay, not everybody from MADBULLS is there. Quite a few players from REGNUM CARYA are already trying to enter the vicinity of Water City, and just Talika is actually there. I would love to see if the ODQs comes in, how Talika is going to perform with that. Now, Loxy is actually on the rooftop of that particular same building where Talika is still surviving. Tron is there, Talika, and also Wild 77K is going to be there. But I don't think so that at this point, REGNUM CARYA is at all expecting a clash in this particular area.
Exactly. I think, Tulka is a little bit concerned at this point. And Loxy will go in, S12K in his hand, opens up the door to his, surprise. Luckily, finds Tulka, so that is just an advantage for the side of Team REGNUM CARYA. Every other kill which they are getting still adds up, and that's a big advantage. They did lose one player, but now they're up with 151 point, which is a 20 points buffer between them and the second place. MADBULLS, meantime, let's see how they are eventually going to come up. Next, RUYA, I think it's going to be Dokin Machine who gets taken down towards Team Esports Kazers. And Kazers also goes out with another knock. So I think that's 2 players of next RUYA getting taken down till the trade comes in. Jesus just goes on smashing the heads of Frozen, who was indeed one of the most MVP player from next RUYA, and also made his way in towards the overall standing. The DBS King is going to be out of the equation. Bison into the hands of Crochet, but let's see if that's going to be promising enough. Switches back to Scarel. The damage does come through, but survives in barely some HP and still manages to take down the third player of next RUYA. So next RUYA survives with only 1 player. Oh, he's looking a little dangerous. Finds the first knock. Is down to a 1 versus 2, but the backup arises. And with that, he's also going in for the heals. But is that promising enough? He's down to 1 HP. The bullet has to connect. But what is Kitch doing? He just goes on to dive himself up back in the car. Then he moves out, gets the final knock done, gets the job finished. And it's Team BRA coming out with a 4 early kill advantage with themselves. They knock out yet another team, which leaves us with only 30 teams surviving.
An aggressive stance indeed coming in the lobby. Praz Esports on the other corner is already receiving two good knockers under them. I don't know how they're going to perform with that, but MADBULLS, after losing one good player of the team, are now a bit more on the skeptical corner. They want to actually perform. They want to get some good points. But then again, they're not going to. They're not going to get, I guess, gatekeeped at this point. And obviously, that gatekeeping scenario is going to mess around a lot. Like he is here. But yeah, this is just the first place one, so they can actually deal the damage at this point. They can easily figure out some rotations. They have got the vehicles as well, so that rotation is not going to be that uncomfortable, to be honest. But yeah, Major Sprite is still having their own Car 98K and 8X scope type of showdown coming in. Let's see how far that establishment is going to go. Like he has been spotted. The same goes for the other guy from MADBULLS. Zarish, to be precise, is going to be the name. I don't know how far this guy is going to survive, but yeah, it's a troublesome situation. It's a tough one, to be precise. But the next play zone that is going to be the second play zone is going to come in very soon. But before that, SPG's one more player has been taken down by FUD Esports. So no, SPG is not at all looking fruitful because every now and then teams are taking them down. What is that zone? 55% of the area is in the water body, which is kind of an unplayable area, to be honest. Okay, what a retaliation, man. What a retaliation. This was a sweet one coming from a Zarish's perspective. That spray was absolutely optimum. Now, moving forward, we have got a few other players from Major Sprite also trying to push forward in the same angle. If the push is actually going to be successful, that would be lovely. But the Tesla has been summoned, and now the rotations are going to come in. But before that rotation, I believe the clash could be there. Let's see. Is it going to be a clash situation? Yes, the clash is coming in. Now, Major Sprite is looking forward to have an advantage. Was able to take one down. Another one is going to get down by the play zone. I really feel like that can actually happen. But let's see how the other guy, Frozen, is going to perform, because Frozen has to take down just Rude. And he does it. He does it quite successfully. Two good players of this team has been knocked out, but both of them are going to get easy revivals because this is just the initiation of the second play zone. What a battle that is upon us. MADBULLS is not going to let the second position go that easily.
Well, let's see how they're gonna revive themselves up quite soon. Melisse's esports are just gonna get bombarded, but no, it's not the case. It's gonna be Elvish who gets taken down. That's two players of Team RUYA Esports, and now it all comes down to Kazers. He is the only man surviving. The nade might do the job. No, it won't, because he runs away with it. But somewhere down the line, the vehicles are getting slammed up to him, and there comes the final blow from Melisse's as they take down RUYA Esports after that 4 eliminations they got. That is just all for nothing. Team ARR still surviving, taking down the hopes and the players of Team FLUX Esports, and with only one player Ket surviving, I think with that, it's the dreams of #2 #1 are also getting away in the end circles. Let's see how the revival back comes in. Well, Team ARR is committed toward taking down the players. Domination does come in for the start of FLUX with 5, but with only one player surviving, he has to do a big 1v2 here. If he managed to do a big 1v2 here, I think this optimal situation does stands out in their favor. But somewhere down the line, I'll say, MADBULLS have been looking powerful, and slowly steadily MADBULLS with all 3 players going their way into the circle. Let's see how it goes. NEXUS gets taken down, and Ketch is that one solo player who has just, trapped in 2 of the players. The closeout is coming towards the start of Flix, who has a DBS in his hands. It's a 1 versus 1 duel for him. He gets spotted. The DBS does the action, and that's it for the start of Team FLUX. That's the journey coming up to an end at the 11th spot. You're in the phase 1 of the Ruthless Europe Invitational. It's the zone that belongs to Prismark, and that's where all the players and all the roads are leading to. Team GG, which is going to be GAIMIN Gladiators, are closing down instantaneously. But what? A knock coming in with a vehicle which just ran over the start of KU, and that's going to be NEXUS taking down one of the players from the start of GAIMIN Gladiators. Slowly, steadily, OZAROX is really coming up to get those kills away, and yes, the kill does come through. Meanwhile, MELISE and FUD Esports are also going to go up against each other. Let's see where the next zone is going to be heading towards.
Oh yeah, the next play zone is actually going to be there in the Prismark vicinity, and that's exactly what happened. Multiple teams are getting converted at this point. I would love to see how far the initiation is going to go, because yes, Prismark is full of the attacking formation. OZAROX is actually having some decent fights, but the NEXUS, last man standing from NEXUS, is still there. I would love to see how far that combination goes on.
Oh, MELISE, the domination is on, and Team FUD Esports falls another victim for this dominant performance of Team MELISE. But now, it's Team NEXUS surviving with only one player, and they are still OZAROX, who are just hunting down the final player. What a damaged, car to just take him apart from the entire, I'll say, fight. This could be a little devastating. Meanwhile, Peace gets taken down. The fire dust comes in, a pretty promising one, but not the one which gets him the knock. And that is a little unfortunate scenario. Now you got to run away. Run at the fastest speed at that Bugatti. Let's see how long could he travel. Oh, it's really quick as we expected. He just walks away as if nothing happened right there. He needs to heal up and he goes out towards the closest glass house. 19 players, 7 teams, and I think this is where slowly, steadily things are going to get interesting because Regnum Cry still survives. The molly is beautiful, and that's the connection which he needed. And with that, it's the elimination. Team Oxford yet get another team being eliminated. This time it's the 7th spot for the side of Team Nexus, which leaves us with top 6 teams. It's going to be Team MELISE, it's going to be Team Ballistas. Then we have the side of Regnum CARYA, and somewhere down the line also Team MADBULLS are surviving. Team MELISE is all the way towards the query. Let's see how they are eventually going to make sure that they survive all the way towards these edges. Okay. Meantime, the reaction comes in from the side of Team MADBULLS, team who could give us one of the most entertaining comebacks in the entire game, but just in the front lines, it's going to be Team Regnum Cry as well rotating. Now, as I mentioned, the only win criteria for them is to make sure that they don't let Team Cry enter these end circles, especially when it's down to the 6 teams. But so far, it doesn't seem to be the case. Team Regnum Cry really is playing it smart. MADBULLS are the one who are getting a little bit of a tough spot as Team RR is really taking on a lot of damage. It all comes down to the one player. FLUX has to do all by himself. It's a 1 versus 2. The closeout does come in from the side of Strix as he looks to close things down. The DPS shot lands up, but he needs one more connection. Just one more connection, but that does not comes. And the hopes and the dreams of comeback falls into the hands of Team ARR's domination. 5 knocks for them, and Team MADBULLS is going to be just up and happy with the #2 position in the overall.
I mean, at this point, I was just looking forward to see where FLUX is there. But yeah, FLUX is also eliminated, and MADBULLS is also eliminated, and still Regnum CARYA is surviving. I mean, I guess we do have a clear picture that which team is going to move forward in the first position and which team is going to be there in the second one. But yeah, there might be a comeback coming in from the later stages, like 4th to 5th position. There could be a very strong comeback coming in. I don't really remember which team is there on the 4th position and also in the 5th position, but still I believe we can actually have our own speculations at this point. In the Prismok region, we do have a player from Nexus, I believe, which is still there. On Nexus, it could be BESIKTAS, I suppose. It could be BESIKTAS, which was actually there in this compounded region. One good guy from BESIKTAS is already there beyond that particular track. He knows that he has to be a bit more skeptical because even if he moves a bit, he is going to get spotted, and eventually that spottation is not going to be fruitful enough. OZAROX on the other corner is also trying to rotate. Having the upper hand is going to be the main meta for this particular team. But MELISE Esports, this could be another big chicken from their particular perspective. Oh, the vehicle crash come in. He saw that vehicle coming in, but still wasn't able to move from that. Okay, another vehicle crash coming in. Both of the guys from ARR Esports were crushed from the vehicle. That's interesting.
It's somewhat, it's reminding me of what happened yesterday. It's just the difference that it was all the action happening in Lipovka. Today it's the Pochinki where the fate comes in for all of these teams, and it's Team Regnum CARYA still surviving. They have only 1 kill. That first kill that they got onto the side of Team MADBULLS, it was a team where, like Trilka was the one who got taken down, and I think indeed it was MADBULLS, but what a knock coming in out of the side of Enjoy as he falls down from the buggy. MELISE is still looking pretty strong enough to see if they could really bring on some advantage. Knock comes in from the side of Pozo. KSU wants to close in. He wants to make sure that he gives a fun blow towards the side of Team Oxford Esports, but Oxford is really smart in playing it in a bit split. Now it comes out to CEO and KSU being in the 2 different positions. Vavel isn't yet been coming in, but Pozo needs to be revived, and I think if they want to carry on with a winner chicken dinner in the end of the game, they have to remember one thing, that they eventually get the numbers advantage back, but that's not the case. CEO just falls right down, and that's down to only 1 player. So all the 4 Turkish team alive at the top 4 position. The revival just comes in the neck of the unstoppably playing Team Oxford Esports with total completing 10 eliminations. But well, guess what? So is the case for the start of Team MELISE as they too get the 10 elimination unstoppable mark. Now it's a 2 versus 1 versus 1 versus 2. And with MELISE Esports reviving the 3rd fallen player, this could put them in a numbers advantage. But Oxidus and MELISE, they're only down to 1-1. Oh, Oxidus directly going in for the slam, and he does manage to get away with the knock. Oh my god, that is just so illegal.
Yeah, the knocks, the eliminations definitely are coming in at this point. MELISE Esports, let's see how far they're going to establish their dominance at this point. If would like to add on that, BESIKTAS Esports could be the one X factor at this point. I would love to see how that stronghold of that particular team is going to go. Yes, MELISE Esports have got the right idea that there might be a player who's hiding in the tree, hiding beyond the tree park. but eventually which particular tree bark is that? That is the only thing that they're messing around with. But Posa finds him. Posa finds him with a beautiful lead with that 10 eliminations were there, but eventually altogether 14 points is what OZAROX is going to have. BESIKTAS Esports is already pushing forward. Another big elimination coming in. REGNUM CARYA is for sure going to become the champion of this phase number 1. That's for sure, because look at them. They are still surviving in the second position. They are going to get at least 8 points out of this particular matchup. But MELISE Esports on the other corner has also figured out that there is a team which is surviving in the backend areas of Bismarck. So obviously pretty soon the pushback scenario could actually come in, and once the zone is actually going to surprise, or maybe should I say once the zone is actually going to change the pace of the game, then I guess things might change. But MELISE Esports is already trying to move forward from the right angle and then come up with a flank. I would love to see how that performance goes on. CURTR is also trying to push forward. Poser has also got the buggies and the coupe RGs. The vehicles are there for them. They can easily rotate. They can easily slam onto the players. I don't know what MELISE is waiting for, because they know that they have got the 3-man power and there must be at most 2 players of an individual team, or maybe a 1v1 type of scenario coming in. So yeah, they have the stronghold, they have the right idea, they can easily go ahead and push forward.
One thing which I do know is that Team REGNUM CARYA hasn't won a winner with a chicken dinner. Yet they are the number 1 spot. Can they put a statement right here, either by winning the final winner chicken dinner and taking away the prize pool of $500? The prize pool is going to be indeed something to talk about, but the players are still not in that good numbers advantage. MELISE is up with 11 kills. And for the final game, they're looking to close things down. Luxy finds all the 3 players. He knows it's a 2 versus 3 scenario, switches back to a UMP. There's another player who's like quite far away towards the glass house. And Team MELISE, they don't really realize that where the players are positioning. So this is a sandwich position for them indeed. Now Posa, if he wants to walk up towards the double-story building, it could still give him some, like a surprise, as Loxy might find him. But Loxy is also down to a little HP, and it's the entire Prismog which, like now they have to worry about. Posa once again uses his buggy. There's no movement yet spotted from the side of Loxy, and this is so sneaky how Team REGNUM are playing it.
I mean, there is the confirmation that REGNUM is for sure having the upper hand at this point, but still REGNUM is actually going to be a bit more on the passive corner, because they know if they get a chicken here, that will be absolutely an added bonus for that particular team. But let's see how CU and the other guys from the team known as the MELISE Esports is going to completely deny the fact of having a chicken for the team which is called as REGNUM CARYA. Yes, Luxy is about to receive a beautiful showdown, because yes, the slam is coming in. This could be a 1v2 situation. Okay, the player has been spotted. Oh, CU decides that he's going to once again go back on the back end areas. Oh, let's see. Will he be able to spot the player? The nade is getting cooked up. I guess he has got the idea. Yeah, the push is coming in for sure. The push is going to be there, but not that easy, to be honest, to convert it. CEO now wants to go ahead and come up with a 1v1, but the player has already exchanged the placements and he's now moving forward to another compound. He's trying to be a bit more close to the teammate of his own. And that's interesting. I mean, the way this guy is performing is actually quite kind of funny, but then again, also quite strategic, to be honest, because REGNUM CARYA knows that they have got the time, they have got the angles right and stuff like that. They should not actually mess around. They should not overcompensate their aggression. They can easily have a chicken dinner. And right now, Luxy could be the one which might actually save the day for them. And at the same time, the other guy from MELISE Esports, that's known as Poser, is just in the buggy, trying to rotate, trying to get an idea of where the players are. Or maybe he is actually going to catch wild 77k off guard if he decides to go ahead in the vicinity of Proxy.
2 versus 3 is still going on. And I believe that's finally the 8th circle, which now closes in. Let's see how much time do these guys have, because slowly, steadily, Loxy must go directly into the crosshair and see he gets spotted off. His CEO instantly falls back. He doesn't want to take this duel as a 1 versus 1. He wants the backup of his team, which is really required. Now both the players are spotted. An easiest chance for Team MELISE is to take down both the players from REGNUM CARYA and get the winner chicken dinner. That won't just be enough, as Team REGNUM CARYA, they're still looking to get at least one of the frag. Loxy finds the first knock. That's going to be on the back of that nade, and he wants to confirm things apart as well. Loxy wants to take all the matters to his own hand, as it's now down to a 2 versus 2. Poser also pulls back his nade while going on for a nade, which could be a pretty devastating one for the side of KSU. But still, the damage has capitalized on. Loxy is down to own, and Poser would really do a lot of impact at this point. Nonetheless, impact is there, the connection was there, but waiting to get some room for themselves to heal. Kiss you meantime gets taken down. It all comes and Team REGNUM cry the winner chicken dinner, indeed the last one in the phase 1, but that completely ensures them the #1 position in the overall standings as they remain the champion at the Ruthless Europe Invitational. What a final map for them. You're in a 2 versus 8 scenario. First, make sure that all the teams fire up against each other, and each and every time you'll see Team REGNUM try either at the second, third, but finally at the number 1 spot. And finally, you get to see the faces of the champions. What a day and what a match for them. What a comeback indeed from the day 2. Indeed, it's going to be a 15, just the least number of kills which we have ever seen. It comes down to chicken dinner, but hey, that's going to be more than enough for them to be the champions.
Yeah, I mean, definitely 15 points is kind of one of those chicken dinner which has not been coming yet in the whole scenario of the phase 1. But eventually, as you said, one last match was left, and eventually, finally, REGNUM CARYA decided that they are going to play a bit more passive because we can clearly see that they could have actually gone aggressive. They could have actually been the one team which have pressurized MELISE esports and maybe also get shattered at the same time. But still, they had the opportunity of winning the whole tournament, and they were able to do it with 50, I believe, somewhere around 165 points. According to my calculations, is going to be there for the team known as REGNUM CARYA. But yes, talking about the statistics, 567 is going to be the damage for Loxy, and eventually 5 eliminations as well. And remember guys, every single elimination in this particular matchup was done by Loxy.
Oh man, this was beautiful. And at the same time, Team ERR Esports, OZAROX Esports, REGNUM CARYA, Team MELISE covering a fair distance using a good util. But the squad survival time, I think, for the side of Team REGNUM, as they lost their first play in the 14th minute, MELISE were looking strong. Like, they had that numbers advantage until they fall down towards the side of, Team OZAROX. And Team OZAROX, a complete chaos which they completely created. But let's take a look out of what's next for us. Because eventually the MVP of the game, it's going to be Storm. Man, he looks ice cold in that, performance. 5 eliminations, 709 damage, 5 throws being used, and it's going to be OZAROX Esports who weren't able to get the job done in the fun map. But hey, that's just the start which they had. Eventually, players are going to get themselves prepped up before the phase 2 is going to start up. So I'm going to be really excited to see how it all goes. But eventually, let's take a look after the match starts and let's see how the numbers eventually came out for each and every players individually. When it comes to who has damage, when it comes to who has recovery, highest elimination, highest knockouts. Because I believe, it's going to be a very pretty much of a diversifying card when we are going to see those situations. Because slowly, steadily, if you talk about overall, it's 17 points, which is 11 elimination for Team MELISE. They fall down at the second spot. So, I mean, yeah, they are at the top. But nonetheless, the winner with the chicken dinner still stays into the hands of Team REGNUM CARYA with 15 points. I think, hey, that's enough they needed. They just wanted that none of the other team gets more points than they had. Team OZAROX had 10 eliminations with 22 points in the end. ERR with 9. Team MELISE with 8. MADBULLS with 7. None other than FLUX with 6 in the end. PRIZEPOOL Esports with 6. Oh, with 4, FUT Esports with 3, NEXUS with 3, Team Major Pride with 1, and GAIMIN GLADIATORS 1. And the other teams had to settle for less.
I mean, yeah, the trouble was there for sure. I mean, totally agreeing with your point that the longest submission was coming in from Major's perspective, which was kind of good. But at the end, I would love to say that the picks, the aggression, the kind of retaliation that was there was absolutely amazing. Yeah, moving forward, I would love to add on that the overall ranking is something I'm actually waiting. Yes, before that, the overall MVP, that is going to be from REGNUM CARYA, if I'm not wrong. So yes, it is Wild77k with 33 total animations, 1690 is going to be the damage that he was able to dish out with 60 total throwables being used and 12 assists as well. Remember guys, the phase 1 is already completed and this guy, the man known as Wild77k, was the overall MVP. Remember guys, once again, overall fragging is a different thing, overall MVP is a different thing. Let's talk about the overall MVP rankings. And you can clearly see on the top, we do have a REGNUM CARYA as a Wild77k. On the second position, we have Loxy with 25 eliminations and a damage of 6491. And on the hindsight, third position is going to be in MADBULLS Frozen. Remember guys, that guy had the #1 position. Right now, it has been changed to #3. So this is the kind of diversified match that we expected today. to happen, and that's exactly what we got. Storm on the other corner is stuck at the 5th position. 6th position will be going in the hands of MELISE versus Trio, and REGNUM's Tron is also there with the 7th position, and 8th is going in the hands of Flyky. Telika will be there with the 9th position, and also a 10th position goes for FLUX's Kish.
I mean, beautiful plays. Some amazing outplays indeed, but 165 in only 15 matches. That's, like an average of 11 points per match of what Team REGNUM CARYA had showed us. I mean, that is indeed incredible. Out of only 15 games, if you're winning, getting 11 points in each and every match, that pretty much sums up what the level of domination looks like for them. If you talk about Team MADBULLS, okay, they have 138 points, which is 27 points of buffer. At the same time, 8 points of buffer for what Team, for FLUX Esports had. Team MELISE in the last, they make it in the top. Team ARR, Ballistas is going to go down, and so is going to be the case for the side of Team BR and Major Pride. For esports, they didn't have the best start, but still they managed to come up at the 8th and 9th spot. Some heartbreaks for the start of SBG indeed, because we really anticipated, that this one French team is going to do wonders out of what performances they had, out of what dominations they had. The first winner chicken dinner for SBG, and who knew that was the last one. But hey, today the last winner chicken dinner, and they came out to be the first, which was none other than Team our very own, the one who comes up on top and actually remains it, to be the one actually coming out to defend it at the same time. But let's see how in the phase 2 as well, the defending champions are going to defend themselves up when it comes down to none other than Team REGNUM CARYA, because this was just incredible as we could have expected. But man, I believe I cannot wait wait myself till the second phase starts, because second phase is where the real action is going to begin. Teams are now happening to be settled inside the lobby. Out of the second day, you saw that there were no turnarounds for today. What happened in second day was the same usual which happened today itself. Team FLUX owning it in the map of Miramar, then a new team every other time in Erangel winning it all. There wasn't any team who completely dominated it one-sidedly in Erangel. So that's something which I do expect when we fall on to the second phase, which will start on from day after tomorrow.
I mean, I actually totally love the way the competition went on and had a lot of circulation at this point, how the performance is going to go and how the teams are going to evolve. From the state of day number 1, we had SPG performing exceptionally well. They had the first winner chicken dinner, and eventually after that, FLUX Esports started dominating back-to-back 2 winner chicken dinners for them in the map of Miramar. But yeah, FLUX Esports lagged on one corner, and that is the corner known as the Erangel. I don't know what was happening to them, but eventually in the last matchup as well, I mean, if I talk about the 15th match, they decided that they will go aggressive. They had the guns, they had the right time period, and they were able to completely shut down the other team, which usually was able to take them out of the equation, the Georgipur Southwest City. So all in all, a beautiful orchestration of the fights were there, and end was quite glorious for a lot of teams.
Surely, but with that, it's going to be it from our side as well. It's going to be me, Upcon, alongside me. It's going to be Raider. You can drop in any, recommendations if you have in our socials. Alongside that, we will be seeing you guys at the 6th, if I'm not wrong. Tomorrow is going to be today is going to be a big enjoyable holiday for you guys at the 4th. So we'll see you guys at 5th June. You guys tune in with us at 6 EST, where we'll be coming back with the phase number 2 with your favorite teams. So till then, have a great weekend ahead. We'll see you guys on the next week.
Void. 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 Void.